Hello, hello, hello. So, the following video is from a previous live stream, and if I'd known just how heavy this game was going to get, I probably would have done this warning to begin with. But there are some material that's covered in this game that may be triggering to people. It covers some very heavy topics like suicide, um, people being involved with cults, things like that. So, I mean, be very, very aware of what's going to be covered. No, if you are in any kind of need of help, always make sure to reach out to someone to try and get some help. If you're suicidal, I do believe there's a new phone number. It's 988. Reach out to them. Reach out to a family member. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to someone. Anyone. I mean, even if it's the guy sitting outside at a bus stop, you have to be a right cold-hearted bastard to not even try to help someone and just sit and listen to them if they express to you that they are not doing well at the moment. Um, and also, no matter what, nothing, no religious belief, no political belief, nothing gives you any right to emotionally, mentally, or physically harm another person in any way, shape, or form. And if they say that you've hurt them, you've hurt them. It's not for you to question that. It is for you to accept that and understand that whatever you did is not an action you should be taking with that person again. But please do enjoy the stream. Like I said, be aware, some very heavy topics being covered. And hopefully we'll see you again. Hello, 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 everyone. How are all of you? So today we're going to continue our playthrough of Tokyo Dark. Doesn't seem right. Doesn't match the descriptions I got at all. What was that? Who's there? Reina? Is that you? Oh? Who's there? Look around you. Interesting, isn't it? It said the cranes can grant a wish. What is it you wish for? Norman won't believe in wishes. Are you him, the Collector? Collector Crow, one of the many names given to me over the years. But we've no time to waste on such boring, trivial things. As introductions, don't you want to know who I am? Oh, I know who you are, Detective Ito, or should I say investigator. So hard to keep straight. So it's irrelevant when you call yourself now, as you've arrived exactly where you need to be. Something's different. Yes, yes. What is it, I wonder? Ah, that's it. You're like me after a fashion. You see things differently from those around you. The world is not so solid and unchanging as it is for them. Things bend, they break. Am I wrong? No, nothing's been the same since Kamakura. Yes, yes, of course, the girl you murdered, Reina, was that your fault? Huh. Well, something definitely made her. Then you are a puppet, dancing at the end of your strings to a tune you cannot hear. No, that's not what I said. I'm no one's puppet. Are you so sure, Detective? Do you really feel like everything you've done is under your control? When faced with the impossible, you're so certain that every choice you make is your own? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they're made for me. Which is easier, I wonder? The knowledge that the cause of all your suffering and your joy is of your own doing or someone else's? I don't have time for this. Ah, of course, of course. Our conversation is tilted towards the philosophical, but you are not here for philosophy. You want something more tangible. I want information, facts. No, it is my business to know what people desire, and that is not what you seek. What is it you want, truly? Tanaka, I want to know what really happened to him. No, it's not only that. I want to know what's happening to me too. Nothing makes sense anymore. I'm tired of chasing after clues that lead to dead ends. Perhaps I can be of some help to you. But first, please indulge me. I have a few questions. I'm curious, so curious. You're such a unique visitor, after all. Yes, nothing like the others. Fine, what do you want to know? I find it interesting that someone like you would drink on the job. You mean the hostess bar 2 weeks ago? Yeah, what of it? It seems so obvious a mistake. Why did you make it? It was for the case. I didn't think I'd get information otherwise. Not that it changed anything. The night of your partner's disappearance, you got on your knees and begged for help with tears in your eyes. Not very typical behavior for a detective, is it? I felt so helpless. Tanaka was in the sewers somewhere and I didn't see another path forward. I was desperate. What is this, some sort of psych test? I came here for answers. Enough with the games. It's no game, Detective. I can give you what you seek. This is my price. That's it. If you want information used against me, seems you've already got enough. Blackmail? How pedestrian. Simplistic, even. No, no, no. I have no interest in that. Then what do you want? Everything I collect brings me closer to an understanding, much like you. Only the puzzle symbol is considerably larger, and the piece you provide is well worth the trouble. Shall we continue? Do I have a choice? You've already made it. You show such little patience, Detective, surprising considering the effort you took to get here. The girl, Reina, she's the one you've been chasing, yes? Let's talk about her. Why didn't you shoot her again in the sewer? She was holding your dear Tanaka at knife point. Why didn't you pull the trigger? Maybe for a police officer it sounds soft, but I didn't want anyone to get hurt. Even with knock at the end of a knife, I thought it might end peacefully. Interesting. Most interesting. Though she's gone, the sleepless nights continue, don't they? You've taken your pills 3 times, following the doctor's orders like a good little puppet. Does it not make you question the futility of it all? Most interesting. Perhaps you've told me enough. Yes, yes, this is most useful. I accept this trade. In return, you want, what was it? Ah, yes, that's right. A path. A way forward. I suppose it's your turn to ask the questions now. A dressmaker, a cap reader, a blackmailer? Seems that no one in this town can agree on anything about you except your name. There's no way anyone could know what you do. It's impossible. So what are you? Take a look around you. Is it not familiar? Can you not smell it? The stench of corruption. I've been here for so long, longer than you can imagine. Feeling the desires, the loves, the hatred of mankind flow through this place. For you, detective, I am exactly who you need me to be. Now, shall we return attention to the matter at hand? Our trade, after all, was not for the knowledge of how I fit into your story. It was for the way to clear the, how did you put it? Ah, yes, to clear the dead ends you run up against. Let us reconsider your problem. I don't know why, but I get the hunch that you'll know what this is. What is it? Reyna's obsessed with it. It must be important, but I can't figure it out. Ah, I see. A most interesting relic. It makes people do the most fascinating things. You attacked a fellow officer to get it, did you not? Why did Reyna want it so badly? This is a tool. Instead of living in fear of it, why not use it? It may be the key that will help you find your precious Tanaka. Though as powerful as it is, one cannot expect to use it knowing nothing about it. You said it yourself, it all started in Kamakura. The Kwanas have quite a history with that mask. The Kwanas, the Shrine Maiden girl. Her grandma was the one who gave it to me. The very same. It gives me the creeps. Maybe I should have gotten rid of it. Don't do that. You'll never find your way without it. And the dark, whether he lives, that is more difficult. The dark? That's not the first time I've heard that. What is it? Where can I find it? A better question is, where can it not be found? Can you not feel it around you? Following you at every turn? It pays great mind to those within its walls. You know of whom I speak. The common thread that binds all the misery in your heart. Reyna, and if that's where she is, Tanaka must be there too. The girl's thread is a complicated one. Yes, very tangled. It begins in Kabukicho, and a talent agency called Omega. Kabukicho? I know it well enough, as I imagine any officer of the law would. The dark is a sacred place. It lives and breathes, changes shape and goes where it pleases. And it is the girl whose suffering determines its shape. Without understanding its roots, you will never find your way. Or it could tear you apart, like it almost has already. The mask and the dark are inexorably linked. Pursuing one without the other is futile. Now you are an enemy of the dark. It will reject you without understanding it, and you'll be lost without the necessary tool. How will I know when a path's been opened? Ask your puppet master. My end of the bargain has been upheld. You seem awfully eager to help me. What's the catch? Something tells me I'm going to regret talking to you. Paranoia? An unnecessary feeling. As I said, people fascinate me, especially one as unique as yourself. You are a detective. I've only given you the tools you need to finish the job. From there, now that is the interesting part. I look forward to seeing your progress. Consider your debt to me partially repaid. The rest I shall collect at another time. Tell me, my little puppet, if you can see your strings, does your dance not continue? Until we meet again. The air in the collector's basement was stagnant and heavy. If I had stayed any longer, I felt like it may have suffocated me. The time I was there, Akibara faded away into distant memory. I returned to the surface, put my hand up to to shield my eyes from sunlight, and listened to the people on the street. Their conversations seemed so pointless. Part of a world I no longer belonged. The busy sounds of the street swept through the cobwebs from my mind, forcing me to remember everything I told the collector and everything he impossibly knew. I told him so much, but did I have a choice? Maybe he was right, and I was a puppet after all. At that moment, it didn't matter. The dark and the mask both belonged to a world I was now a part of. Normal methods of investigation wouldn't lead me to them. Countless paths were narrowed to tune. I had no choice but to march forward toward the leads I'd been given. As I left Akibara behind, one thing bothered me. How did the collector know so much about me? Was I really so easy to read? I didn't have time to dwell on it. Kazuki and Reina were in the dark. That much had been all but confirmed, and I now had a means, however impossible, to find them. Two paths, the mask and the dark. Both were necessary, and I had to make a choice of which to follow first. Chase after a talent agency in Tokyo's red light district, or back to Kamakura to visit Mai, the girl I nearly got killed. Neither seemed very appealing. My logical side didn't understand how either would help, but as everything around me cracked and crumbled away, logic didn't matter anymore. I had to choose, or maybe something would choose for me. Well, so we're told that in order to investigate the dark, we first needed to understand the tool by which to do so. And that was to understand the mask. So, I mean, regardless of how supernatural it is, there's still a logic to that world. We just don't understand the logic. So, in order to see where to go first, or how to properly proceed, we need to go to Kamakura. Came here to find out about the mask, but there's something I've got to do first. 6 months ago, I sent one girl to the morgue and very nearly killed another. Since then, I thought of coming here to apologize to Mai Kuwana countless times, but couldn't will myself to see her and be faced with my failure. I think of the fear and hurt in her eyes, and I feel nothing but shame. For my own peace of mind, I need to tell her the truth about that day and about how I lost control. Hopefully she can find it in herself to forgive me enough to help me with my investigation of the mask. Wait, it's fall. Why are the cherry blossoms blooming? It's like nothing's changed since that day. Oh, it's you. I was reading the papers and I saw your picture. And then I saw that picture on the TV news. And maybe the 7chan message boards after I looked you up. I'm sorry, I was curious. I remember meeting you and couldn't believe it. It's like I met a celebrity or something. Oh, of course, it's not good or anything, but you never know who you'll meet in this business. Everyone always seems so unassuming. I mean, that's not to say any of it was your fault or anything. Okay, so the message boards are pretty bad. There's a lot of bad stuff on there. Like, wow. Pretty wild stuff. Are you done? Oh, right. Sorry. Yes. Hello again. What's going on with the weather here? It's fall. Why are the cherry blossoms out? It's beautiful, isn't it? There's a species of cherry tree, the Prunus subortella autumnalis, that sometimes blooms twice a year. At least that's what it says online. Who'd have thought we'd have them here in Kamakura? Well, I say Kamakura, but they only seem to be in this part of town. Lucky, huh? A cherry blossom tree that blooms in fall? I've never seen it. Are you sure you've got your facts straight? It seems impossible. Impossible? Do you doubt my botany expertise? Possible would be if the seasons started reversing themselves, don't you think? No, not really. I would assume somehow there was a magnetic pole switch and the Earth had flipped. Though that would be devastating to the plant life, and more assuredly the plants would probably die out at both the extreme sides of either pole, as suddenly, well, what should be summertime foliage is now stuck in winter freezing. So I mean, it would potentially come back, but there'd be a lot of damage done by that. Yeah, it certainly feels that way. Huh? You say something? Why the glum face? Anyway, I hope you take advantage of the weather and go for a picnic or something. The blossoms are so peaceful. Don't they put your mind at ease? I'm looking for Mai Kawana. Have you seen her? Oh, you're looking for Mai again, huh? Are you sure that's such a good idea? She was pretty upset about the, happenings the last time you were here. I mean, I've barely seen her leave Kamakura since then. Maybe it's best you leave her alone. It's important I talk to her. I suppose she'd be at the shrine that's down the street, like usual. We all want everything to go back to normal. Is Mai's grandmother still at the house near here? You want to see her? Well, she is still around, I suppose. I see the comings and goings of all the people around here. I don't see her getting out much, though. Oh yes, that reminds me. When you were last here in April, did she, I don't know, give you something? I'm not accusing you, of course. I heard that there was an important artifact that went missing last spring. Kawana's old and losing her faculties a bit. Maybe she gave it to you by mistake? Can you remember anything like that? Oh, so you do know about it. That's a relief. Wouldn't want to think something so important was stolen by some riffraff, right? So do you know when they'll return it? You'll have to ask HQ about that kind of thing. Sorry. I did. I contacted them several times. They said they didn't know anything about it. They said they didn't have it. You don't think they're lying, do you, detective? They wouldn't lie about something like that. Something so precious to this town, would they? I'm sure whoever talked to was mistaken. Yes, that must be it. I'll keep trying. Enjoy your time in Kamakura. Answer the damn door. Okay, I give up. I tried enough times there. Why now? Why her? I don't have to do what you say. I'm not a puppet. I can choose. You, the detective from before, why are you just standing there? Is it over? I'm fine. Sorry to scare you. I'm here to talk to you. See, I've never been good at apologies. I'm sorry for everything I put you through. I've been meaning to talk to you ever since that day. I should have come sooner. You're here to apologize now? I didn't hear from anyone in 6 months. The police only talked to me once. Then everyone here started avoiding me and acting like it never happened. I guess that makes me the last person you want to see now. After the day, I'm sure some police came by and told you that I was only following procedure, but that's bull. Police in this country don't go around shooting people. I didn't feel myself and lost control, putting you at risk. Sounds vague to say I lost control at such a crucial time, I bet. But that's the truth. The truth is strange, isn't it? The cherry blossoms, I mean. It's silly, but every time someone comes here and says how beautiful they are, I get so mad. It's like they don't understand my feelings at all. But that's selfish, huh? It's not like I want everyone to suffer along with me. Imagine the only other one who understands that is you, Detective. Your name's Ito, right? God, this music is so quiet here. It's hard to imagine something like that day in April really happened in a place so peaceful. But it did. I know that you and your partner were only doing what you could to save me, but I wish I could have helped. I felt so helpless. At least you told me the truth. Thank you. You know, I asked Grandma about the mask the red-haired girl was after, and she denied knowing anything. If it was a lie, I found one of her old journals at the shrine. She wrote that the mask was important and had to be hidden away. Why would you lie to me? I'm sick of everyone always trying to protect me by covering something up. Grandma hasn't been the same since that day, either. She shuts herself up in that old house and mumbles herself about darkness and purity. I'm so worried about her. My gut tells me that mask has something to do with it. I'm sorry, listen to me rambling away. I bet you don't care about any of that. The truth is, I think you're right about the mask having something to do with all this strangeness. I came here to ask you about it. You think so too? Then let me help you. I don't know anything about, but maybe Takashi does. Oh, sorry, Takashi's my brother. He used to live here in Kamakura with me, Grandma, but he left the first chance he got. We talk on the phone all the time, but he refuses to come back and visit. I get the feeling he knows something I don't. He won't even tell me about how my parents died. Where does your brother live now? He's an instructor at a kendo dojo in Asakusa in Tokyo. I hear he's a big shot in the kendo world. Sounds like he'd be a good place to start. Do you think he'll speak to me? You can try. He's never been very good at opening up to strangers, though. It's worth a shot. Thanks for helping me, Mai. So we got another lead. Well, I tried. Cheap stuff you buy at the food stand in the festival. They will make you question everything you knew about octopus in a bowl form. Don't say no to the sales. Sure, I'll take some. Well, you're right. This is maybe the best takoyaki I've had. Thank you, miss. Best takoyaki on all the islands. Tourists, like I can hear them speaking English. My English isn't so great. So I doubt they'll be of much help, but I wonder what they're talking about. I don't speak... Wait, Japanese. Your Japanese is perfect. As a college professor, if it wasn't, I'd probably be out of a job. I'm no college professor, but I work in a Japanese software company, so I'd be in a bit of trouble too. Don't look at me, I just live here. Well, not in Tokyo, in the suburbs. Well, I think you guys might speak Japanese better than I do. I mean, sorry, I never would have thought. Would you prefer to speak in English instead? No, no, please. Japanese is fine. Sorry, I wasn't meaning to be nosy. I guess I don't see people wearing Yakuta this late in the year. Is there a festival or something? No, we came to Asakusa every year, and the Yakuta became part of the tradition. After all, I guess it makes us stand out more than we already do. Don't knock tradition. Admittedly, my legs are a little cold, though. Who are you? You're a friend of my sister's? You expect me to believe that? A little old, don't you think? Gee, thanks. Really, you think I wouldn't recognize you? You're the author who's at the shrine in April. You almost got her killed. And now you're lying about it, pretending to be your friend and no doubt to get something from me. Don't look so shocked. Your little deception is easy to read, is all. After your idiocy in Kamakura, I heard Mai crying over the phone every night for a month. Don't bother her anymore. Now get out of here before either myself or one of your fellow officers has to throw you out. I think I managed to find your brother. He didn't exactly seem happy to see me. Yep, you found Big Brother alright. He's been protective of me ever since we were little. I know I'm probably overstepping my boundaries, but would you be willing to come talk to him? I don't think he'll tell me anything on my own. You want me to help? You know, seeing you again really got me thinking. I decided if everyone's trying to hide it, I can't sit here and ignore what's happening. I need to understand why my family has been acting so strangely. Even my own brother is keeping me in the dark. I'm sick of it. Sure, I'll come with you. If I were alone, he'd probably pat me on the head and send me on my way. But if you're there, I'm sure he'll tell me about my parents, the mask, and everything. Are you sure that's what you want? Sometimes not knowing is better, Mai. No, no more stupid little Mai. I'd rather be hurt and know than happy and ignorant. But before we go, let's check on Grandma. These days, she doesn't know where I am. It can really set her off. Or make a quick stop at the house. Thanks, Mai. I have a feeling that that's not going to go over real great. Wait. Grandma, it's me. Please open the door. Oh my, it's you. Please come in. Yes, come in. Wait, what is she doing here? It's okay, Grandma. She's here to help. Help? Ha, don't make me laugh. You were supposed to help me, remember? I felt something that you were going to free me from the past. Free you? Are you talking about the mask? Do not discuss that horrid thing here. No matter how far you go, I can still feel it, like needles in my skin, dragging me to it. In my dreams, I can still see that place. Have you seen it too, Detective? A dark place where those we've lost reside. I'm so old and I've wasted so much time, yet the pain won't go away. My poor Imiko. I miss her so much. If only I could have found her. You mean Mom? Find her? What are you talking about? She's gone. Takashi told me she died after I was born. Yes, of course. You shouldn't be asking about such things, Mai. If it weren't for this woman, you'd be safe at the shrine. No, Grandma, you're wrong. I'm not safe while everyone lies to me. I'm going to see Takashi. If you don't tell me the truth, he will. Listen to yourself. You must stop. Opening the door to the past will solve nothing. Ever since you were little, I've done what I could to protect you and your brother. Please don't go down this path. You look so much like her, you know. Your mother? And you, Detective. Perhaps my granddaughter is too naive to see it, but you can't hide it from me. I know what you've seen, what you think you're able to do, but keep my family out of it. We've suffered enough. You don't know anything about me, and besides, I'm not the one hiding things from my family. Tell me, do you know how the story of Izanagi and Izanami? Grandma, this again? I'm sure Ito's not interested in hearing some old myth. Really, we should get going. Stay right there. Though I've told you this story so many times you don't seem to grasp its importance, I think it'd be of use to this woman to hear it. Izanagi and Izanami were the first of the gods, known to us as the Kami. In legend, it was the drops of ocean water that fell from Izanagi's jeweled spear that created the islands of Japan. When they descended to our lands, they brought their love and devotion with them to the realms of mortals. Izanagi and Izanami had many children, the deities of nature that inhabit the natural world all around us. For a time, life was peaceful. However, as Izanami gave birth to Kagutsuchi, the Kami of Fire, she was horribly burnt and suffered mortal wounds. As she lay dying and faced with her mortality, new Kami were born from her suffering. Kami that hid away from the light. When Izanami passed, Izanagi was inconsolable, and in his rage, he struck down the child that killed his love. Unable to accept her death, he ventured deep underground to Yomi no Kuni, the land of the dead. Half blind and distraught with grief, he wandered in the darkness until he finally heard the voice of his beloved. Though unable to see her face, Izanagi begged Izanami to return with him. Izanami replied that she would try and asked the gods of Yomi no Kuni permission to return to the land of the living. Incapable of restraining his desire to see his love, Izanagi set his comb alight in order to look upon his lost love. What greeted him was the sight of her decaying, worm-eaten face. In horror, Izanagi attempted to flee Yomi no Kuni. Izanami, enraged, sent dark spirits to pursue him and drag him back to her. After narrowly escaping, Izanagi sealed the entrance to Yomi no Kuni with a great boulder. So you see, it is our mortality that brings suffering into the world, yet resisting it is a perversion of the natural order. Being mortal means we must accept that we cannot control life and death. Detective, some things cannot be changed, and some doors should never be opened. You must stop. Grandma, you're talking about stories and myths. We're talking about real things. The story may be myth, but there is a truth within it. Can't you see that? The thing you pursue, they're unnatural, unclean. Heed my warning and stop this foolishness. I won't let you involve my family any further. First those bastards take my Imiko, then you show up. Perhaps I'm being punished for my sins. Mai, come here. Come here, my sweet child. We must keep you away from her. No, Grandma, I told you already. I'm going to see Takashi. I'm an adult now. You can't tell me what to do anymore. No, you can't. You can't go. We must protect our family from outsiders. Mai, you're reopening old wounds. Leave us alone. Let us heal. Heal? You think I want to heal? Can't you see how much these lies have hurt me already? You're the one wounding me. Grandma, not Ito. You're delusional. You tell us stories about Kami and spirits. Takashi might be hiding things from me too, but at least he makes sense. This time he's going to tell me the truth about everything, about Mom and Dad too. No. Stop. I'll tell you how your parents, how they... You can't, can you? You've never told me how they died. The reasons always changed every time I asked. No, Mai, please. You must listen. They might be listening. They're still out there, and they haven't forgiven me. Can't you see? What are you talking about? You're insane. I'm sorry I spoke to you that way. I'll be back to check on you soon. Don't go, please. Goodbye, Grandma. I'm sorry, she's got much worse since last you saw her. No, it's fine. Why do you think she told us that story? About Izanagi? I don't know. It was kind of creepy, wasn't it? She was talking about it like she really believed it. Come on, let's go see let's go see Takashi. Whoa, whoa, where do you think you're going? Mine aren't leaving, what of it? Oh, well, you can't. I got a call from Mai's grandmother. She says she's having health issues, so she has to stay. I didn't ask what they were. One would be caught fainting on my shift again. One must be pretty bad if she called. Mai's an adult. Her grandmother can't keep her here. Let's go. No, you don't understand. You're not going anywhere. So that crow might be an option. I told you about how I don't like about the blood, and let's not really bite you see the germs, and well, okay, I'm dizzy. I'm a little dizzy. Just going to. Oh dear, did he just faint? Sure looks like it. He'll be fine. Let's get a move on. We're going to Asakusa. Mai, what are you doing here? Did she make you come? It's not like that, Takashi. It was my idea. I asked her to come talk with you, but you sent her away. This woman almost got you killed. You expect me to cooperate with her? Surely if you need to talk to me, you can come yourself. My sister doesn't need to be involved. No, if I came alone, you just evade all my questions like you always do. Besides, there's something I need you to see. See? What? What are you talking about? Where did you get that? Put it away. So you do know what it is. I knew you were hiding something from me. That's not true. I wasn't hiding it. It's nothing you ever need to know about. Besides, why is she carrying it in the first place? Wait, don't change the subject. This isn't about Ito. Mai, I understand that you're upset with me, but we should talk about this another time. Furthermore, that mask has nothing to do with you. You're wrong. Back in April when Mai was held at knife point by another girl, it was this mask she was after. A mask your family is connected to. Looking for it? I suppose I've been fooled to think I could keep the truth of our family's past away from you. The past? Does this have to do with Mom and Dad? Yes, and so much more. I first saw that mask when I was a child, before you were born. The truth is, it belonged to a cult called the Common Kai, of which our parents were members. A cult? You're kidding. How'd your parents get mixed up in that? I know how it sounds. I find it hard to believe myself. They were a group led by a guru named Tokimasa, who promised a simpler life away from hypocrisy and falseness of city life. Our parents both had master's degrees, and my mother was on her way to earning her PhD. They chose to give up their lives and their careers to follow some mystic and live on a compound instead. The Common Kai were one of many such groups back then. I was a child and didn't understand, but think about how our parents were deceived and what they put me and Mai through. It's unforgivable. The mask was on the compound, but for what purpose or what they believed it could do, I don't know. Do you think there are any members of the Common Kai left who know? No, you see, there are no surviving members. They died, all of them, including our parents. I'm sorry, I don't remember much about it. One night Grandma came into the room where we were sleeping saying we had to go. The compound was in the woods, so it was dark and I could barely see. But she kept charging forward with Mai in her arms and me dragging behind. When we were back in Tokyo several days later, Grandma told me that our parents were dead. She didn't seem sad. It was as if she expected it. The government censored much of what happened, so I was never able to learn how they died. Me and Grandma didn't speak of it, ignoring it, as if my childhood and everything that happened in those woods was all a bad dream. If it weren't for her, we'd probably be dead with our parents. But ignoring it couldn't erase the anger I felt towards them. I wonder if they even cared what might happen to us. As a high schooler, I spent more time trying to find out about the Common Kai than I did studying. I thought that if I could understand why my parents so willingly gave up their lives and abandoned us, I'd stop feeling so betrayed. But I was wrong. Nothing I found gave me peace. Mom and Dad died as part of some cult? I don't believe it. It's true, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you sooner. I guess that in hiding it from you, I was able to hide away my feelings as well. I think for Grandma it was too painful to talk about. I believe she took possession of the shrine in order to live a simpler life. We had to keep it secret. There's no way we could live a normal life with the stigma of the Common Kai attached to us. I suppose keeping that secret hurt us both dearly. For me, pursuing Kendo gave me some measure of control over my life again. But Grandma, who made a choice to leave her only daughter behind, she always seemed to carry the guilt of it with her. She started going out at night babbling about how she was looking for Mom. When she'd come home, she would have a rotten stink on her clothes. I was too scared to confront her, so I tipped off the police. They found her wandering in the sewers holding nothing but the mask. The same one from the cult compound all those years before. And the one you hold now. I was shocked when they gave it to me. I hadn't seen it for so long, and all the unpleasant memories from my past came flooding back. That was when I decided to leave Kamakura. It was the only way I could move on with my life. That doesn't account for how the mask ended up with your grandmother in the first place. I don't know how she got it. It simply appeared out of thin air, or maybe someone gave it to her. She never said. I left the mask with her. It always made me uneasy. It had a strange aura about it. Wait, Grandma was looking for Mom in the sewers? I don't remember any of this. You were in the dorms at your school at the time. Grandma's strange behavior is part of why I insisted on you going to those private schools away from Kamakura. I couldn't drag you into the madness of our past. We parted ways without ever speaking of it, and she was much better by the time you returned to Kamakura. Detective, what exactly is it that you're looking for? Surely our family's history isn't of use to you. I assume you've heard about what happened to my partner. This mask was there again when he died. It's more than an ornament. I need to know where it came from. If that's true, then I want to help. Your partner, he seemed nice, like he seemed like a nice person. No, Ma, you've helped plenty, but I have to do this on my own. Ito's right. I apologize for not telling you all this sooner, but you can't be involved in something so dangerous. I already thought I'd lost you that day at the shrine, and I wouldn't forgive myself if something happened to you now. Alright, thank you for finally telling me the truth, Takashi. I'll hold back for now. I hope you remember that I'm your sister. I may not remember the same things you do, but we're still family. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for your help, Mai. You're up, Mai. I'll come visit you soon. It looks like she's gone. Mai's not here. There's no need to be coy. No doubt taking possession of that mask has taken its toll on you. Even the brief time I was in contact with it, I felt an immense darkness behind it. I had such strange dreams and saw things I never would have dreamed up on my own. There was always an unusual air about it that I couldn't stand to be around. Maybe lying to Mai again makes me a hypocrite. All I know is that I don't want her getting hurt. But like you said, I don't believe that mask is simply wood and paint. Though I doubt anyone else would believe us. No one ever did, except for one man. On this street, there's an old tea shop. Perhaps you saw it on the way in? An old historian named Yasuhisa is there occasionally. He was the only one who ever acknowledged what I said about the mask as truth. If you're looking for any information on the mask, he may be the best person to ask. I never pursued the topic with him, but I speak with him occasionally on other topics. His mind is a vault of valuable information. Hopefully he can shed some light on what it really is. I hope so, but please, Detective, be careful. Welcome, come in. Do sit down. No need to be so formal and stand there like a statue. How can I help you? Are you Yasuhisa? Takashi told me to come speak with you. Oh, and how is Mr. Kawana? Still prickly as ever, I suppose. I've always found him to be wise beyond his years, though perhaps not by choice. I digress. My apologies. It's the quirks that come with old age, you know. What does Mr. Quana think I can help you with? I'm looking into a few things related to the Common Kai, the group his family got mixed up in. A more difficult answer than you might expect. You see, there are two different groups that share that name. First, as you know, is a religious order group formed by the Guru Tokimasa. The second is an ancient order over 1,000 years old. What's that you're holding? I was told it's related to the Common Kai, or the newer one, and what you could tell me about it. Ah, that explains many things, child. The far-off look in your eyes, for one. I imagine you have many, many questions. Masks are interesting, are they not? They are meant to be a disguise, and yet a mask cannot lie or contort itself to hide the truth. In that sense, it is the mask that is more truthful than the human faces we hide underneath them. I wonder how you came to be in possession of an object with such a dark history. I think it might be related to a missing person, but I don't know anything about it beyond that. Ah, but that itself is the essence of history. Layers upon layers of personal connections that are continuously peeled back to their roots. Relics like the one you hold often take unusual routes to where they end up. Relic, if it's from the Common Kai from the 90s, then I'd hardly call it a relic. Misguided and deceptive as it was, Tokimasa was no fool. In order to gain new followers, he needed to give his cult historical legitimacy. He collected obscure objects and gave them new meanings that he could control in order to manipulate his followers. The mask was what he chose, along with the name of the group that created it. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I guess so, and I guess I was hoping you'd tell me some other things about it. For instance? Like why? Now that I'm about to say it out loud, it sounds silly. I'm sorry I bothered you. Don't be silly. You wonder, for example, why holding the mask seems to take you to another place. Or perhaps why you can see visions that don't seem real. Why you feel a strong will exerting itself on you. Oh yes, I know all about those things too. How could you know about that? When Tokimasa was in possession of it, he believed it showed him a path to the realm of the gods. He wrote extensively on the subject. Though, unlike most, I don't discount such phenomena as the ravings of a madman when the phenomena repeats itself. Do you too look into the inky blackness and see familiar shapes in the shadows? Not shadows. I see and hear people who are supposed to be dead. I find things I couldn't possibly have found otherwise. Most interesting. Tell me, Detective, apologies, do you mind if I call you that? I don't remember telling you I was a detective. Ah, my mistake. You must forgive me. A slip of the tongue. I believe it was the way you carried yourself. Determined investigators such as yourself have such a sense of purpose in their mannerisms, you see. And you do seem rather determined to get to the bottom of whatever it is you're chasing. Tell me, does me telling you that your experiences are not an illusion provide you any level of comfort? I'm not sure, but I do feel something. Maybe hope. It's like I finally got a foothold on solid ground. Ah, yes. Knowledge is a light in dark places, is it not? To think a relic of such import would end up with a detective. Do you mind if I ask you something? Which do you believe? Are our lives controlled by fate? Pre-measured threads that determine our deeds? Our wishes and our ends the minute we come into existence? Or conversely, is our thread subject to the chaos inherent in our universe? Instead, does it change according to our deeds and that which happens to us seemingly by accident? Do you believe it is fate or chance that decides whether threads of life are cut short and which are followed? There we go, I couldn't see the box. Yes, of course, maybe you feel your life has been somewhat out of your control as of late. Control? To be honest, I don't think I've had much of that since the mask came to me. You said the mask was made for me by the common Kai. Was made by the common Kai. Why, confusing me can't be the purpose it was made for. Ah, yes, a more complicated answer than you might have wished for. Indeed, it should come as no surprise that the creation of such a mysterious object is equally enigmatic. Perhaps you could do me a favor. Don't worry, it is in relation to this very topic. An important book has gone missing from my shop. If you could retrieve it for me, I feel it could shine a great deal of light on the subject. What kind of book? A book of the missing variety. I'm sorry, I jest. It concerns the Mask Bearer. Mask Bearer? Huh. That's me, right? I mean, you are currently carrying the mask, so I guess by default that makes you the Mask Bearer. Although you carry it, that does not make you its bearer. All will become clear when the book is returned to me. Sounds easy enough. Where can I start looking? Oh, you needn't go far. The man who has it is right outside this building. In fact, as I said, it's not much of an errand, but I of course cannot leave my shop. He's right outside? This won't take long. I'll be right back. The old tea shop next door. Isn't that place closed down? Closed? That can't be right. What else do you know about it? Pure conjecture on this one, but I think it might be owned by the kendo instructor from the dojo down the street. On the account of him being the only one I ever see in there. You might not believe me, but I swear I saw him in there chatting away to himself. Possibly he's a little nuts. Thinking it might be some super awesome kendo meditation technique. Why didn't I think of that before? Next time I ought to ask him for some pointers instead of spying on him. Word through the grapevine is that he's a regional champion or something, and has trained some of the best. Lots of cops training with him too, so he must be good. Maybe he's not so crazy after all. Speaking of which, I have a bit of a crazy question for you. I know you said it was closed, but you know anything about book taken from there? Maybe recently? I was led to believe you would. Oh jeez. Go on. Like I said, the place has been empty for years, but you know, I spent a lot of time outside and half the time the door's wide open. So one day a few months back, I decided to take a look around. Nothing suspicious. Or nothing, I was just curious is all. Curiosity killed the cat, right? Anyway, it was all dusty and old, and there was all sorts of weird stuff laying around. So I might have taken a little souvenir. I mean, it wasn't super old or nothing, so I figured no one would miss it. Besides, it wasn't for me. It was for my kid brother. That guy can get deep in the dumps sometimes, so I try to be on standby for when that happens, you know? So I figured a little gift could cheer him up. And back then, he was going through some particularly tough times. His wife, pardon my language, miss, had left him and taken their kid daughter with her. He still doesn't talk about it, like he's in denial or something. Whoops, got off track again. I was heading to visit him with the ill-gotten book when I got this phone call saying he was in the hospital. He OD'd on expensive sake and sleeping pills. Thank God the idiot decided to do it at the bar he owns with the door unlocked. The customer came in and called an ambulance. If it weren't for that, I'm not sure if he'd still be here. That's quite a story. Sounds like he wanted to be found. Yeah, I think so too. I think he was trying to ask for help in his own way. Anyway, case, I took the book to him while he was in the hospital, tried to show him that even when he was at his lowest, there was someone out there trying to do something nice for him, you know? I think it helped for a minute, anyway. As soon as the doctors let him leave, he went right back to that toxic little bar. I hope he's okay. He's got issues, but he's my little brother, and I worry about him. He's not been answering my phone calls lately. I wish that my brother's ex-wife, sorry again, had the brilliant idea to put his skills to work in a cheap part of town. Despite that, he's holding on to it with everything he's got. The place is slowly bankrupting him, but he won't let it go. All he has to do is sign some paper and move on. But he can't. Something about it has its claws sink deep into him. I've been trying to get him to join me in my business for years. He's a great chef, and we could make a killing. Maybe it's not the same as owning a whole bar, but serving passengers by and getting some sunshine is good for the soul. Plus, food stands are doing really well abroad, I hear. Much better than wasting away in Shinjuku at any rate. Shinjuku? Yeah, a slimy little side street. You know, if that book is important to you, he's probably still got it at his place. You want the address? Wait, I know you look familiar. Your brother's Saizo, right? You know, small world. It was probably the smile on my face that threw you off. Tell him his brother Haruto says hi. While you're at it, tell him that takoyaki stands are still the future of cuisine. And to get his butt over here. I'll do that. Thanks for all your help. How can I help you today? Hey, Daizo, how are things? Well, you know, same old, same old. Funny thing, I met your brother while I was in Osaka today. Haruto? You met Haruto? What are the chances? Who knows? It was pretty random. Huh, who would have thought? So is he still selling takoyaki at his stand? Did he say anything? He is. He said to remind you that takoyaki stands for the future of cuisine and that you should go and help him. Yeah, you talked to Haruto, alright. Always the optimist. I actually have a favor to ask. Do you still have the book your brother gave you a few months ago? No, the only thing that guy gives me is a headache. Not sure if I can help you, Ayumi. He said he gave it to you when you were in the hospital. Oh, what makes you think I was in the hospital? I didn't even go to the hospital for checkups. Besides, that dolt's bringing me stuff all the time. Always trying to drag me kicking and screaming over to where the grass is greener. This would have been more recently. After a rough patch? Maybe it was stupid of me to come and ask. Oh, no, it's fine. That idiot always running his mouth. Freaking traitor. Those were just some, hard times. Nothing serious. I just drank too much is all. I'm sorry, Detective, but I don't want to talk about it. Alright, understood. I'm not here to dig up bad memories, Daizo. Thanks, you said you were looking for a book, right? Truth is, I don't remember a book. I do remember Haruto giving me an old magazine, though, back in the hospital. It was one of the ones I used to read when I was younger, when things weren't quite so complicated. Wait here, there a second. I may have it in the storeroom still. Dang it. Hold on a sec. Amazing how much junk someone accumulates over the years. Maybe I should throw some of this old stuff out, huh? Here it is. It's yours, Detective. Huh? Hey, no wonder I recognize that photo you brought by. Same girl, an idol named Ruby. Reina, no, Ruby, see? Says so right there on the cover. Pretty crazy that was still in my shop. Guess that means you're still looking for her. I wonder we'll keep running into each other. Weird luck, I guess. I don't buy it. You're a hell of a detective. You must have a pretty sharp nose. If you say so, Daizo. Do you mind if I take this? Like I said, it's yours. About time I start getting rid of some of my old junk. Thank you. See you around, Ayumi. Welcome back. Is that my book I see in your hands? Guess I'm a little surprised. Are you trying to tell me Reina is the mask bearer you talked about? That's hard to believe. Does it surprise you? After all, it is she who you see in the dark, is it not? The dark, that's what the collector called it too. How'd Reina get tied up in all this? I only know that somehow the girl's path and the masks collided, as if by chance. What circumstances led to this intersection is our mystery, I'm afraid. People always see history as something in the distant past, involving old men and black and white pictures, but that books and the gift are as much as a part of history as the rest. The threads that connect the past to the present and people to each other are not always apparent. But peel back the layers of connection and the randomness of our universe neatly orders itself. A teen idol, an ancient order, the tool they created, and the detective who holds it now, all forming a neat and tidy line. Reina was some sort of idol living in Tokyo, not part of a sleeper cell of some cult. It doesn't add up. It's starting to my head. On that, detective, we can agree. So why don't we start at the beginning? To how the mask ceased to be a mere object. The story starts in ancient times, in the year 1333. At that time, Kamakura was the capital of Japan. Led by the Hojo clan, it was a time of peace, prosperity, and enlightenment. Peace among men is cyclical, and like so many before them, and so many after, their time of peace came to an end. The Nida clan, loyal to Emperor Go-Daigo, led a siege against the Hojo-controlled Kamakura, taking the city as the tide receded, leaving a key passage open to the invaders. The Hojo clan fled to the caves of their family temple. For them, there was no hope of victory or escape. They chose to retain their honor. Instead of surrendering, the samurai, including the last three regents, committed mass suicide. However, the Hojo and Nida clans, embroiled in their quest for empire, could not see the role they played in the plans of another group, the religious sect known as the Common Kai. It is said that in the flames of Kamakura, a girl was seen wandering the streets, observing the carnage of the burning city. A girl lost to the histories by the name of Chikako Shichojo, the last survivor of the Common Kai. Okay, so whatever the Common Kai were trying to do, they failed. I mean, they all died, right? No, they did not fail. Everything went exactly as planned. Did not survive by chance. She was chosen. Chosen for what? To receive the blessing of all the spiritual energy that so much death afforded. To become the first mask bearer. The Common Kai used the death of all those people to create this? Why? Legend has it. Legend has it that the Common Kai sought to contain the door. A rift leading to the spiritual realm, where our consciousnesses cease to be and time holds no meaning. A place where cause and effect could be changed. Why? Why spend so much human life and give up so much to do that? To stop it from being abused. Imagine being able to see the world as a god, so that the flow of time and the rules which govern our world are of no consequence. This is the power of the door. To a mortal mind obsessed with the finality of death and meaningless accomplishment, such power would corrupt absolutely. Power over death. So, a dark place was created to obscure the door and hide it from mortal eyes, along with a tool to control and see within the darkness. It's true, all of it. It sounds like a fairy tale, but it's true. Finding the door could be the key to bringing Tanaka back. Some doors, no matter how strong they call to us, are not meant to be opened. Some doors, no matter how strong they call to us, are not meant to be opened, and the common Kai willingly gave their lives to keep it that way. The mask opens the mind to all who come in contact with it. But it is intended for its bearer. Using it to find the door may destroy you. Maybe you're right, but I could at least use it to find my way in the dark. Just like the collector said, the only thing I don't get is how Reyna is connected to it. That is a mystery, as Mr. Kawana told you. The last known location of the mask was the Common Kai cult only a few decades ago. Much was suppressed about the Common Kai under Tokumasa. They existed, and then on March 4th, 1996, they met their end. There are many theories that the police killed them during their raid of the compound, or that someone within the cult had snapped and murdered the others. Nothing but conjecture, I'm afraid. The real answer lies somewhere deep within police records, and though I remain curious, it is not something I have access to. Perhaps the best place to start is there. Finding out about the last days of Common Kai may help light your path to the truth, though I wonder if such an object bred from suffering can truly put an end to it. Is it you who can finally break this terrible cycle? I spent a long time here. I'm tired, so tired. Farewell, detective. The police station's the only place that's gonna let me travel, okay. It's like, not gonna let me go to the apartment and take the medication? Oh shit, you've got to be kidding me. Funny, me and some of the other guys were just talking about you after practice the other day. Specifically, we're taking bets as to how long it would be before you showed your face again. Shame you coming in here now cost me 10,000 yen. Not that matters, ever since you left, things are looking up for me. I won the last Department Kendo tournament. I've been enjoying my promotion. Oh yeah, thanks for the new office, by the way. Anyway, non-active duty cops, or you in other words, aren't allowed in HQ right now, so what do you want? I don't like him. Oh, I'm sorry, did you think that was private, your little episodes? Hate to break it to you, but I saw your file. Still don't understand how Tanaka wound up with a crazy little thing like you. You know, he used to tell us about it, your little romantic escapades. All the juicy details. I'm sorry, did you think that was private too? Thing is, Ito, you were just another part of the talk in the locker room. Or do you think it was more than that? Get out of here, there's nothing for you. wouldn't give me a second helping. Nice to see you back. How can I help you, detective? I spoke to Yasuhisa, the historian. Oh, good. And? Takashi, what is he? I don't understand your question. He's one of them. Them. Ito, are you alright? He's just an old man. What else would he be? No, Takashi, you must have noticed there's something off about him. Like the collector, but no, not exactly like him. I'm not sure what Yasuhisa told you to scare you like this, but I've known him for years. He's a bit eccentric and too philosophical for his own good, but he's harmless. Let me offer some advice. What you're feeling right now, it's not him. It's you. The more time I spent researching the Common Kai in the past, the more I began to feel the world had gone mad. But it didn't. It continued to turn on its axis as it always does. It was me who became unhinged. You could always walk away, Detective Ito. Some mysteries aren't worth solving. I said your dojo trains a lot of people in the police. That's right, I trained many of them personally. Do you know Akira Tairo, a detective from Tokyo HQ? Oh yes, I know him quite well. I may have a great deal of innate talent in martial arts, though that talent is offset by somewhat by his, how do I put this, brash personality? Brash is a very diplomatic way to put it. Sorry to put you on the spot, but Tyro's about the only usable link I've got left in the police force, and the one person who's trying to stop me the most. Seeing as you train with him all the time, I was hoping you might know something that would change his mind, if you know what I mean. Are you asking me to help blackmail Tyra? Beyond the obvious reasons why I wouldn't help you do that, I also happen to think it won't work. You may be surprised to hear this, but actually lives a fairly straightforward life. His excesses are nothing that would draw him any scrutiny, at least not among his fellow officers. I hear he is engaged to be married soon as well. Someone actually agreed to marry that slime? That poor girl. Yes, a very nice girl. Apparently they're quite happy together. Oh yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. May I ask what exactly Tyra did to make you feel so strongly? Did to me? You should be asking him that. Ever since I started, he's looked down on me and never missed a chance to remind me how he felt. I ignored him because I figured if I worked hard enough and earned my promotion, that would shut him up once and for all. You eventually got this promotion, I take it. Well, did he shut up like you thought? No, he got worse. Started with him spreading rumors about me sleeping around in HQ. Then there were various complaints to my supervisor. He couldn't stand that I'd won. It's all falling apart now though, huh? He got my old job and every time I see him he has that smug grin on his stupid face like he's mocking me. So you hate the fact that, at least in his mind, he was right. Something like that. Tyra's not the first person to think a woman didn't deserve the promotion I got. But it stung a little extra when he ended up at my desk. Yes, I thought as much. You're not saying you think that brown-nosing, Romanizing, lazy, good-for-nothing outstill actually deserves my spot, are you? No, I can't judge the inner workings of the police force, but from what I've heard, it certainly wouldn't be the first time an officer didn't earn their promotion honestly. Often I watch my students spar, and always notice an interesting trend. You see, usually the outcomes of matches have nothing to do with their skill. Is there a moral at the end of the story? Patience, Ito. You see, two students will face each other, but before they even draw their swords, they've decided the outcome. Students rank each other and themselves based on practice, their social status, their schools, or any number of things before they even enter my dojo. A student perceiving himself as stronger will always be more relaxed, more ready to attack, while the students resign themselves to defeat and desperately defends. It's not skill or merit that wins the battle, it's expectations. Do you see where I'm going with this? I do, but I'm not sure if I like it. You're saying that unless I can break Tyra's perception of me, I'll keep losing, right? Exactly. For a man like Tyra, who expects certain things of women, you've defied him at every turn, but if I suck up to him and play the part, it might throw him off guard enough for me to win this fight. Sound about right? Very perceptive. Here, this should help. Saki, it's a gift. Wow, that's so flattering. I barely even know you. I suppose in order to grade myself to scum like Tyra, I could use a drink. It's not for you, it's for him. Oh, and here I was thinking you were being nice. This is a very expensive brand. As a matter of fact, it's Tyra's favorite. A gift for his promotion. A promotion he stole. A promotion into my position. Think of it as a way to throw him off balance. You can't strike at his hurt until he drops his guard, after all. You know how to play the role he expects of you. I expect you know the type of woman he likes. Much as it pains me to admit, that might work. Thanks for the sake. Oh, I don't like this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm sorry. That's it, Ito. I've heard enough of your. Wait, what? I heard it. You heard it right. I'm sorry. You're a good detective. I never did congratulate you on your promotion. Here, this is for you. I guess. So you think bribing is going to work, huh? Kennomichi? Is that a bottle of Kennomichi? No way. It sells out in weeks. Even my family rarely managed to get a bottle, and they knew the people to ask. How'd you get it? That's not important. Consider an apology for how I've treated you in the past. I present this to you as a way to formally hand over my old position to you. It's clearly in better hands now. But... Ito, sit up, will you? It's fine, just sit up already. Okay, I accept your apology. Hell, didn't know you felt that way. I mean, life's recent events and all, it's long overdue. Guess with all the stress you've gone through, the delay is understandable. Glad you're finally learned to manage your emotions appropriately. Thank you for your kind words. Asshole! Once I return to the department, I know I'll have much to learn from you. And it's a little early for that talk, don't you think? We don't even know if they'll let you back on the force after the hearing. Yes, I suppose you're right. I shouldn't have spoken so brashly. Stop that, please. I always thought you'd be a better cop if you listened to your fellow detectives a bit more. Suppose there's a lot you have to learn from me. I know you're right. I was so brash before. That's probably how I ended up here. Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for dropping this by. To tell you the truth, it's been a long, tough time for all of us. It's better to stick together. We're all on the same team after all, right? Maybe once you're back, me and you can partner up. One can only hope I'll be so lucky. Right. Look, I gotta get back to my office. You need anything else? Well, I was thinking about, oh no, I couldn't possibly bother you. You're so busy. It's fine, I can handle it. Go on. Well, I know I shouldn't be, but I've been doing a little research in an unofficial capacity, you know? I was wondering if you could pull a file for me. You know I can't give you access to the system. You're suspended, and besides, it'd be against regulations, and I guess if you stay on that side of the counter, I could get Ishibashi to help you. Don't think this means you're best friends or anything. It's just repayment for the Kennomichi. Oh, thank you. Uh, I wouldn't want to impose on your busy schedule. Again, stand up. Saki. I'm going back to my office. Look up the file Ito wants. Log the research query to my name. Got it? Yes, sir, of course. I'll be in my new office all afternoon, so direct any calls there. Yes, sir. I think he's gone. Damn. I mean, I've twisted some guys around my finger before, but that was something else. Don't think it'll take long to get your office back if you can keep working that magic. Listen to me very closely. It's very, very important you train me how to do that. For professional purposes. I think you're all right on your own, Saki. Fine. By the way, anyway, you've got his sign off. What did you want me to look up for you? On March 4th, 1996, there was a raid on a compound belonging to a cult called the Common Kai. I'd like the official report plus anything else you can find on it. Wow, that's some heavy reading material. I'll get right on it, boss. Doesn't look like there's much to go on here. Looks like there's only one file. Righto, I'll put it on the USB for you so you can take it with you. Just don't tell anyone. Here you go. Thanks, I owe you one. You owe me more than one. See you around. Why is the TV even on at all? Something doesn't smell right. There's a parade on a compound. All that's left is this lone debriefing. Doesn't add up. Not to mention so much of what is here is redacted. Officers arriving at the scene found 12 people dead on arrival, including Tokumasa and Mai's parents. Where are the details about how they died? Not to mention the report itself was filed almost a week after the raid, so why aren't there any autopsy reports? It says here, 2 children and 1 adult are believed missing. That must be Mai, Takashi, and their grandmother. I guess that means Takashi was telling the truth after all. So many people have been hiding information from me, it's almost a relief. Still, for such a short report, it raises a lot of questions. The list of the dead, their causes of death, if there are other survivors, what else have they found? It's all lost. Even the location of the compound has been classified. All I know is that the mask was found in the middle of a pile of dead bodies. What the hell happened here? Why was it covered up? Something terrible happened at the Komenkai compound. No doubt the mask had a part to play in these 12 people's deaths, and one way or another, it's found its way to Reina afterwards. She said she was searching for the door, which means her connection to it is no mere coincidence either. The collector said the path in the dark would never reveal itself unless I understood her past. The report is dead end for now, but he gave me another lead, a talent agency called Omega in Kabukicho. There's not a whole lot to go on, but maybe I'll find the connection I need to connect the dots. For now, all I can do is go to Kabukicho and ask around. Stable, professional, meticulous, relaxed. Talent agents by the name Omega. Unless there's a big sign advertising, which I highly doubt. I need to ask around to find it. Don't I know you? Who, me? Yeah. Unless you're hiding someone behind your back. Aren't you the detective whose face was all over the town a few weeks back? Yeah, that's it. How did I recognize you before? Hey, didn't someone from HQ come by and ask about her earlier? Maybe we should call it in. Hold on, you really think that's a good idea? What are you talking about? I'm not risking my job over some nobody detective. Yeah, we'll call it into HQ and you might be risking more than your job, if you know what I mean. Right, why should we stick our necks out when she hasn't even done anything wrong? Being on leave doesn't mean she can't walk around, does it? I'm with you. I doubt I need to remind you boys what happens when you ruffle the wrong feathers at HQ. You guys can't be serious. Look, I'm not saying we arrest her, only you're going to piss off the wrong people. I don't know how much more obvious I need to be for you to get it. No one, not even the detective here, is worth breaking down her wrath. Especially right now. Things aren't exactly on stable ground here since the Kune family shakeup. Don't need a repeat of Officer Ono. Pay promotion one day and then some anonymous tip comes into HQ that Ono's been selling a little dope on the side. Even got a gun to tie him to a crime scene. Yeah, a gun that mysteriously gone missing from evidence. You think that story's true? Does it really matter if it is or not? The point is, he has too many questions around here. Now he's in jail. Someplace who are held hostage by some woman. Screw it. Maybe you guys are right. So the guy from HQ asks again, we can say we didn't see any detective tonight. That's right, we didn't see you and you definitely didn't talk to us. Got it? Yeah, I got it. Being on the street around here isn't exactly an easy position to be in. You mean at the bottom? Yeah, don't give us the whole lot of options. Feels like I'm always stuck between HQ and all the other shit going on around here. I'm not sure which is worse. Honestly, you read the papers, don't you? You heard about the Mifune family, right? No? Yeah, I'm sure she has, and that's all you need to say on the subject. You never know who's working for who around here, so put a lid on it. Listen, whatever you think we are, or what you think goes on around here, isn't so simple as good cops and bad cops. Remember that. Might not be perfect, but we do our best to keep the peace, right? Right. Well, we're trying our best, so don't cause any trouble for us. We'll return the favor by not letting HQ know about this. There's plenty scarier than HQ out there. That's for sure. Why don't you move along? I think I'll do just that. Good luck, officers. Well, guess I'm going in. I don't have a choice. Can I ask you something? Whoa, I wasn't doing anything. You're a cop, right? Nope, you've got me all wrong. I'm looking for talent names from the name of Omega. Why do you think I was a cop? All the cops asking that many questions right off the bat. Well, that and your costume have me fooled. You gotta be careful walking around like that. Oh, I got it. You're some kind of performer, right? What are you doing looking for Omega? Omega's a wash. You won't get any work from them. Right, not, sweetheart. It just so happens I work for one of the best agencies in town. We handle all types, models, performers, actors, you name it. Even a mature woman such as yourself will have no problem finding work through us. That is, if you're fine with staying in costume. My lucky day. That's the spirit. Have a drink with me. I'll get you signed up. I'm sure I can find work for you in no time. Well, like I said, I'm looking for Omega. A friend of mine recommended them, so it'd be rude to not talk to them at least, right? If you ask me, your friend's got no taste. You shouldn't waste your time with those losers. No one's even seen their guys around for months. We're on the streets that they ran up a bit of debt with the wrong people, if you know what I mean. Anyway, you didn't hear that from me. You know where I am if you want a real chance. Can I ask you something? Yeah, sure. You don't need my permission. You heard of an agency around here called Omega? Omega? No, it doesn't ring a bell. Why? What's it to you? I'm looking for a missing girl. Missing, huh? Was she foreign? Working for a nightclub, maybe working for some of the other types of clubs. I don't remember asking your opinion on the girl, only if you knew about the agency. Either way, answer's the same. I don't know no Omega, you probably won't find her even if I did. Girls go missing all the time around here, if you catch my drift. Care to be more specific? No, I don't. Don't think your delicate types can handle it. Let's just say not everyone is as nice to the ladies in those places as I am, and leave it at that. Stir the pot with questions like that, and you're bound to end up in trouble. So want help? Go ask someone else. Can I see? I wasn't doing anything. You're a cop, right? Nope, you've got me all wrong. Where I read all this. Hello, can you spare a minute? Whoa, how long have you been standing there? I just got here. Why so jumpy? There were big scary guys guards here a little before you. He acted friendly enough, but he made me feel a little uneasy. I'm gonna lower that audio. Kept asking me what I was doing here and if I wanted to go somewhere and have a drink with his friends. Honestly, I've been waiting for a good moment to duck out. Thank you made the right decision by staying put. If you ask me, have you ever heard of a talent agency around here called Omega by chance? Omega? No, never heard of it. Actually, ever in this part of town. A friend of a friend invited me out here for a few drinks, but she hasn't shown her face yet. It's starting to stink of some sort of weird setup. Anyway, I still have some pride, so I'm not going to tuck my tail and run just yet. Good luck finding that agency or whatever you were looking for, and if you see that guy I mentioned earlier, watch your back. Evening. You know anything about talent agents called Omega? I heard they were based here. Are you insane? It's not like I'm asking you to take me there personally. What's the issue? You do know where you are, don't you? Omega ran up against some people, the same people who own this club. And they lost. The Mifune takeover's already racked up quite the body count, and I don't plan on being added to it. I'm not sure who you're working for, but you've come at a bit of a sensitive time. If I were you, I'd turn around and walk out that door. Hell, she probably killed him too. Killed who? Him, you know, Higashi, the owner of Omega. Everyone know he owed the Mifune family a small fortune. The word on the street is that there's been a little spring cleaning of any disloyal retainers. Do I need to spell it out for you? Good, I've already said too much, and you should probably stop asking around too. You never know who's listening. Hey, do you know this area? What? I had a question. What? Speak up. I can't hear you. Speaker's right there. You're going to have to talk louder. I'm looking for an agency. You're looking for a vacancy? And what? No. You're what? Whoa, you really shouldn't shout things like that around here. Excuse me, miss. We were hoping you might join us next door. Consider it an invitation from an admirer. Besides, it's a much nicer venue than this dump. Yeah, in fact, we'd be happy to escort you. Who do you think? We're just businessmen doing our business. Take a few steps back, creep. You think I'd go anywhere with you? Yeah, I think you will. Sorry if we were a little too polite before. I wasn't asking your permission. Forcing me would be a big mistake. Oh yeah? How do you figure? Look around, do you think anyone's going to help you? Promising you this much. People see us escorting you out of here and they'll look the other way. Hell, I could probably break your nose right now, order a drink, and the bartender bring me that drink before you even dreamed of wiping your blood off the floor. Not that I'm threatening you, understand? Of course not. We wouldn't want you to feel like you're in danger. Now let's go. Welcome, come in. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kasumi Mifune. I appreciate you coming by to talk. Your thugs didn't give me much of an option. The hell you think you are calling me a thug? Well, we're businessmen, you got that? No, you're thugs. Oh, I've got it all right, but don't think that dressing in a suit makes you any less of a thug. Say another word, you cop, bitch. Enough. You say another word, I'll make you wish you hadn't. Now get out, both of you. Yes, boss. My apologies. The quality of help you can find these days isn't quite up to the standard that was in my father's time. Wild dogs can be difficult to train, but they'll come around, even if I have to beat it into them. Sit down, relax. Can I get you a drink? I see, then excuse me while I pour one for myself. Why don't we skip the small talk and tell me why I'm here? I'm getting to that. Seems you're a woman who doesn't like to waste time. Good as luck would have it, neither am I. Let's get right to it. A short while ago, a couple men downstairs ran up to tell me you, a cop, had walked past my bar and into one of my nightclubs. Then I hear you've been sniffing around asking about one of my investments. Investments? You mean Omega? Smart girl. Tell me, Ayami Ito, why is it that a cop is going around asking pointed questions like that? More curious still, not just any cop, but a publicly shamed cop on leave. A shamed cop who's had a history of, how did they word it? Oh yes, a history of psychotic episodes? How do you know all that? We all have friends, Detective Ito, and when detectives are wandering around my part of the city, my friends tell me everything I want to know. Honestly, you don't seem all that crazy to me. As to why you're after Omega, let's say you piqued my interest. Sorry, look at us. You said no small talk, and here we are off in the bushes somewhere. Let's get back on track, shall we? As you're not acting in any official capacity, it's safe to say that no one knows you're here, correct? No, I suppose they don't. In your position, I might have tried to lie, but I appreciate the honesty. It was a rhetorical question anyway. I know for a fact there's no one coming for you. Funny, you don't strike me as the stupid type, and yet you've willingly entering a den of vipers. If you valued your neck staying on your shoulders, surely you wouldn't do something so reckless. You can skip the threats. If you wanted to do something to me, you'd have done it already. Plus, you're smart enough to know that not to hurt a cop, even one in my position. Good, I like you. Given your prickly demeanor, I doubt you're working with one of my competitors. And you're definitely not here for your police buddies. Okay, I give up. I have to know, what exactly is it that you want to know about Omega? I'm looking for this girl. Her name is Reina. I was told she was involved with the agency somehow. I want to know what happened to her. How very noble of you. Figuring that out might be a bit difficult, but I'm afraid Omega is an extremely recent acquisition. To get back farther, you'll have to talk to its president and former owner, a man named Aichi Higashi. As it so happens, that makes two of us who'd like to have a word with him. Like peas in a pod, us two. Unfortunately, when he handed over the business, he became a bit, how should I put it, forgetful about his outstanding debts to us. And the poor thing is so scared of me that he's ignoring all my calls. Probably think I'd do something awful to him if I found him. I can't imagine how he'd get that idea, can you? Maybe if we're talking to a police officer instead of talking to me. I'm not some green recruit. I know how this works by now. What's the catch? You never tell me where you was and send me on my way for nothing. Of course I wouldn't. You'll have to prove that you can be trusted first. There's someone else I need you to talk with. A bit of a softer target than Higashi. Pretty good deal, right? Everything you're looking for in exchange for one little job. Well, that is a good question. I don't know how I feel about this one because in one way, I don't want to do this job for, but I'm sure there's probably some other way of trying to get the information. I just don't know how we might do it. Let's do a poll. Okay, we'll throw up a poll here and see what you guys have to say. How should how should I go about this? Should I, like I said, I'm sure there's probably another way that's less of a criminal route, which I think is probably going to tank my at least my professionalism stat. Okay, so in a game votes, we'll do it by 20-sided die. Evens will do the job, odds we won't. That is a 7, so that is odd, so we do not take the job. Oh, don't make this more difficult than it has to be. You'll agree eventually, so why fight it? I know a lot about you. Top of your class, one of the best detectives on the force. You won't let something as pesky as morals get in the way of good information, would you? I've heard about you too, Kasumi Mifune. Or more accurately, I heard a lot about your father. As you should. My father was a good man. It's not surprising you know more about him than me. That'll change soon enough. I won't be a footnote in his story much longer. My father always undervalued the power of information. But I really get to know the people I associate with. You, for instance. Everything you've done paints a picture of someone who's very determined and very desperate to find this girl of yours. Don't let other people tell you otherwise, Detective. I think those traits are a wonderful combination. However, it also means you don't have a lot of bargaining power right now. If you don't want to work with me, that's fine. You can go home and quietly overdose on whatever medication they've got you taking instead. Furthermore, I could just refuse your request altogether, but that'd be so boring. We both need something, so let's help each other instead. Do the job I ask, and I'll tell you what I know about little Higashi. As I was saying, like him, there's another business owner, Akabara, who is unfortunately behind on our payments as well. Such a shame, too. I really want a straightforward relationship with this one. See, I help out with a few things. In exchange, she kicks back a little of her business. Sometimes we send over new contracts to renegotiate the terms of our mutually beneficial relationship. Sadly, she's neglected to sign the newest one. I'm a cop, not some Yakuza debt collector. Do it yourself. Ah ha ha ha, suspended cop. You can't parade your badge around as proof that you're some white knight anymore. Due to the recent transition of power, I can't do it myself just this minute. The dogs at Tokyo Police Headquarters start panting whenever me or any of my men are seen outside of Kabukicho. I'm not asking you to club someone's head in. I'm only asking you to give them a friendly reminder to keep up to date on their paperwork. Easy, right? Here, take it. Do this for me, and I'll feel a lot more comfortable giving out information on Omega. Also, I'll remind you, with your impending review, it'd be unseemly if it got out that you are meeting with Yakuza, wouldn't it? Blackmail, huh? That's such an ugly word. And here I thought we were becoming friends. No, I'm just stating the facts of the situation is all. The business you're going to is a cat cafe in Akabara. Kazu can give you the address on the way out. Wait, a cat cafe? Or what, a cat cafe? What else would it be? Well, a cat cafe or a cat-made cafe. What? Are we talking cats or people dressed like cats? Because a freaking cat cafe, actual cats, adorable, fluffy, precious cats. Why the hell would I invest in some stupid maid cafe? Cats, normal cats. I must take screenshot. I must share this. Where's Kiryu? Because he wouldn't letting them blackmail some cat cafe. Damn it, now I'm all worked up. Look, get that goddamn contract signed and we'll talk. So, I'm having to do it regardless. Hey lady, you need something? There's nothing to see here, so why don't you move along? Why should I? You said yourself there's nothing to see after all. I have advice for you. If you're trying to keep someone from staying out of your business, I wouldn't lead with nothing to see here. See, she thinks so too. Every time you say nothing to see here, people stop and stare at us instead of actually moving along. Nothing to see here really does kind of make you want to know more, you know? It's kind of sinister, nothing to see here. That's what cops say when they're definitely, without a doubt, something's worth seeing. Thanks a lot for the advice, boys. Last I checked, it was you who worked for me, not the other way around. Alright, no need to be so damn touchy. All we're saying is unless you want every passerby and Kabukicho stopping to stare at us, you could try zipping it. Zip it. Is that how you talk to all your employers? You are aware of who I work for, right? Right? Digging a hole is the least of your worries, so do as I say. These jobs are the worst. What exactly are you guys doing all of a sudden? I can't help but wonder what some suit is doing standing by a construction site. I have to agree with the little lady on that one. As far as I can tell, we're pumping the street with concrete for no damn reason at all. No reason, far from it. It's scheduled maintenance requested by the building's owner. There were complaints of people falling or getting hurt because of the uneven pavement. So my employer generously offered her own money to fix it. Maintenance, huh? Seemed perfectly fine to me until we started hacking into it. And you seem awfully impatient for us to fill it back in. Maybe it's got something to do with that little thing you had wrapped in cloth before? Shut up, or I'll ask you to dig 2 more holes after this one. 2 more? Oh, I get it. I think that was meant to be some sort of threat. Yes, exactly. I mean, what he said wasn't exactly threatening. Honestly, I've heard better. Is he trying to imply that he's going to make us cover ourselves in concrete? Kind of a boring threat. Fine, bad joke, but maybe you two should remember you're being paid very generously to be here, so shut it! And you, miss, would you please kindly move along? As you can see, I'm busy enough with these 2 without any additional distractions. What is it? Oh. It's had a couple movies, got another movie coming out. 2 idiots talking behind a counter for the most part. Random bullshit. Not really much of any plot whatsoever to either of the 2 movies I've seen. Jay and Silent Bob. The 2 idiots digging the hole there remind me of Jay and Silent Bob. As you can see, I'm busy enough with these 2 without any additional distractions. Okay. That's the Cat Maid Cafe. So this should be just the straight up cat cafe. Welcome back. I think Tomo remembers you. He must be appreciative of all your help to make him feel better. Although I've had to stop the deliveries of sashimi, even the smell seems to set off his bowels. Another quirk added to an already quirky character. Maybe it's a sign that you were right about the fish. Yeah, listen, we need to talk. Aw, isn't he such a cute face? Sure, why the serious face? What's wrong? How does the owner of a cat cafe get mixed up with the Yakuza? Huh? What do you mean? I met someone recently who gave me a contract with your name on it to sign. I read it and it seems like you owe them quite a bit of money. Why? I've been around this kind of stuff for a long time. I can't figure out how a cat cafe owes that kind of money. Money? You're working for her? Why? I'm not working for anyone. All I've got is this contract in your name, and I want to know why. Truth is, this place isn't all above board. Or it is, but it wasn't always. I didn't borrow money or anything that stupid. When I was setting up this place, I was just trying to stay above water. But the building owner kept coming by to complain. And then these government types and health inspectors came knocking. I never realized how complicated opening up a place like this in Tokyo could be. All those rules and regulations. All I ever wanted was to help out the kiddies and make people happy. Then she came by, someone who loved cats as much as I did. She offered to help me smooth things over with everyone. I mean, I saw the tattoos and everything, but I don't think you should judge people because of how they look. I still don't. There was no way I was going to stay open and keep my kitties if I didn't get help fast. So I accepted her offer, and things got better pretty quickly after that. The building owner stopped complaining, and all the permits fell into my lap. Maybe you think I was stupid, but most of the cats here would be stray or dead if I didn't get her help. For a while, I thought I was saved by a guardian angel. After all, she loved the cats and was kind and friendly to me. It's been quiet, too. The business with Tomo's bowels was the first incident I've had in months. About 2 months after accepting her help, when I was closing up the shop, some men showed up with a contract like the one you're holding. They said it was for services rendered or something like that. It wasn't much at the time, so I signed it. I owed her a lot after all, and I was doing pretty well. Only they kept coming back, and every time they came back, they had a new contract. Every contract wanted more and more money. It's gotten out of hand. I can't keep up anymore. Kasumi won't even see me anymore to talk about it. You didn't really think you'd get a favor from the Yakuza for nothing, did you? I wasn't being greedy. I thought she was trying to help. Helping's the only way she knows how. Oh, please, you have to help me. The amount of money they've asked for is out of hand. I'm doing well for now, but if they get their way, I'd be out of business. You have to tell Kasumi. Please tell her that if this place closes down, all these cats, there'll be no place for them to go. The poor kitties. That you put down, I can't support them myself. I don't think Animal Services would let me keep them. I couldn't live with myself if that happened. I'm begging you, Ito. Don't do this. Damn it, it doesn't matter what I need from her. I can't make you sign this in good conscience. Hooray! I knew good would prevail in the end. Thanks. How do you get mixed up with that woman anyway? I need some information from her. You should be careful. I don't know about her, but her thugs are dangerous. Last time they were here, I heard them talking about having to teach a girl from another cafe a lesson or something. It makes me feel sick thinking about it. What else would you expect from guys like that? Breaking legs is probably all they're capable of outside of grunting and drinking. Call me naive, but I don't get how someone can be so two-faced. When I started seeing her face in the papers lately, I couldn't believe it. Surely that ruthless woman there they were talking about couldn't be the Kasumi I knew, or so I thought. Guess it's like you said, a tiger can't change its stripes, right? Maybe so. At any rate, you should probably be more careful who you trust in the future. Sorry, I didn't mean to wrap you up in all this, but thank you for not making me sign. So what's your plan? I'm not sure if I really have one. Maybe I can appeal to her kinder self. She really is a cat lover. I'm sure she wouldn't want to see the little guys hurt, right? Oh no, I've really gone in and got myself into trouble, haven't I? Maybe I should go instead. The contract was given me, so I better deal with it myself. Plus, I get the impression that being confined by the cops hasn't put her in a great mood. I'm sure you don't agree, but I still think there's something good in her. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if she'd be doing all these things if she didn't grow up into that life. And all the kitties loved her when they played with her. Cats are such good judges of character. I somehow don't think her treatment of animals correlates too much with her treatment of people. I'm starting to feel a little queasy thinking about going back there without the contract. Damn it. You've really gotten yourself into one this time, haven't you? No point dwelling on it now. Oh, all the cuteness in this very dark game. I made my mind up. I can't run Yakuza debt collections just because I'm in a tight spot. Take care. Don't worry, my kitties are never wrong judging someone's character. Yeah, sure, I'll think of something, but I need you to lay low and maybe close up shop for a while until I sort something out. Okay, so we were given a lead that someone at a girl at another cafe was harassed by Kasume's thugs. So let's check out some of these other cafes and see if we can't get some details. Hey, what are you doing here? Go back. Honestly, the one I don't want you to get hurt. Go home. Okay. He's not getting his choice to take him home, so... Welcome back. I assume you took care of that little nuisance for me. I didn't have her sign it. I couldn't in good conscience ruin someone's life like that. Let me explain something to you. If I give you something to do, you don't come back until it's done. What do you think, you're some sort of moral crusader helping out the little guy? What'd she tell you anyway? She has a small town girl who couldn't keep up with the big meanies in Tokyo? Put it that way, I guess I do sound like I'm asking a bit much. Did she tell you about all the cats that kept escaping, or the ones who wandered into nearby businesses? How about the heaps of trash that were piling up around the place? If it weren't for me getting people off her back and cleaning up the place, those cats would probably be dead by now. What we have here, Detective, is a trust issue. You are too quick to take the other side because of who I am, or at least who you think I am. Yes, boss? Take you to side and show her what happens when people disappoint me. Don't be too rough. I don't want a repeat of last time. Oh, and leave her face alone. I'd hate for someone to see a black eye and think she might be worthy of sympathy. Keep her jacket here. I like it. It's very chic. Do you know my friends tell me when all the police raids are coming? It's pretty handy, really. As a matter of fact, there's one scheduled for tomorrow. I'll be gone, of course, but if they were to find this jacket, well, who knows what they'd think. Would be a pity if someone recognized it. Escort her out. Good luck finding that stupid little girl. Hold on, Kazu. Ito, who is this? I guess he's a stowaway from the cat cafe. He is, huh? I see. I love him. Look at his squishy little face. I can have a detective beating around such a cute little face. What's his name? I think his name is Tomo. Tomo? That's not much of a name for a man, is it? I shall call you Mr. Marshmallow. About that blackmail and beating? Oh, forget it. Really? Really? Oh, good. Oh, Ito, lighten up. You're not a liability unless you start talking to your cop friends. And you wouldn't do that, would you? No, they likely wouldn't believe me at this point anyway. My thoughts exactly, so cheer up. How can you stay mad when looking at these big eyes and those little feet? I look at you and I see a woman whose priorities are all wrong, You don't appreciate what you have. Only what you're looking for. That is until you find it, but then what's left? That said, I was curious about one thing. If you talk to any cops about my business or about my affections for cats or anything like that, Kazu might pay a visit to your apartment and pick up where he left off. But who wants to think about all the logistics of dismembering and disposing of a detective's body when you've got these cute little whiskers rubbing against you? Oh, oh my. Oh. How? Okay. That is like one of the weirdest MacGuffin ratings I've ever come across. I mean, I love it. It's cute. It's great. But I cannot think of a single person I've ever seen in reality that would act like this. Someone this cold-hearted would not just go, no, I've got this cute little cat in my hands. No, we're not going to beat you today. But talk, and then we'll beat you. No. It'd be more like, bye. I'm going to go over in that room. I'm going to play with the cat. And I'm going to forget all about you ever existing. And I'm going to feel better about my life because that's just the kind of cold-hearted bitch that I am. Not this, nope, I'll always forgive him because I've got a cat. Just so weird. Just so goddamn weird. Huh, Sachiko's right. You do genuinely love cats. So why make her sign a contract that would end with her having to put the cats down? Sachiko isn't as perfect and cute as she seems. She might love her cats, but she has strange ways of caring for them. She owes me a great debt, and it's my right to collect it. If her cafe shut down, I'd make sure those cats have a home, though I can't say the same for their owner. This job isn't about tough decisions, not legal ones like you cops make. In my business, if you have to sleep with the choices you make, not leave them at the door when you hand the case over to the courts. Mr. Marshmallow likes being picked up. He is pretty cute. I'm not sure if you meant for this outcome, but I have to say, you have some guts coming back like you did. I thought you'd be another pushover cop to keep in my pocket. I underestimated you. And in doing so, I've given you information on one of my weaknesses. It's funny, really. I spend so much time making sure I'm not seen as the weak woman that all these men expect me to be, that I don't feel like myself sometimes. Something I'm sure you understand quite well. Tell you what, I'll let you have that one little weakness of mine. It's only fair. I know so many of yours, after all. In a different life, maybe we could have been friends. Stand down for now. Ito, consider yourself lucky. I'll let you keep your jacket tonight. Understood, boss. Alright, forget the Cat Cafe contract. I'll get one of my boys to deal with it later. What is it you wanted again? I want to speak to Omega's company president, Higashi, about a girl signed to his agency. That's right, our missing agency president, and one of his many projects. What a despicable little man, I'll tell you now. I had no problem taking control of the business from him. I left him as president to keep a few of his clients happy, a decision I regret now. Unfortunately, I'm just as in the dark about where he disappeared to as you, I'm afraid. A deal's a deal, though. While you were out, I got an address to one of his old hideouts, and the code to get in. I can't guarantee you'll find anything there, but I said I'd tell you what I had knew, and that's what I know. You haven't sent one of your stooges to check it out for you. Stooges? I like you, but don't push it. As I said earlier, me and my men can't afford to be spotted right now. Especially in an area getting so much special attention. Special attention? Doesn't Kabukicho get enough attention on its own? Here's what it is. But this isn't an end here. This particular spot got its reputation subsequently its extra police patrols a bit more recently. Probably because of you. In fact, I hear there's still an ongoing investigation going on there. I heard you'd be intimately familiar with that area, and the incident that happened there. My condolences on the loss of your partner, Detective Tanaka, by the way. All the papers are rushing to make you out to be incompetent, or worse yet, some sort of psychotic killer. Maddening, isn't it? My friends in police headquarters say you two were close. That's no way to lose someone you love. I suppose it's not too much to ask what really happened. Was there really someone there that night? Thanks and condolences, but what happened on the night isn't something I want to discuss right now. Suit yourself. Let's change the subject back to Higashi. It took a bit of digging to find that dress. Seems he was keeping a second hideout in Shinjuku under a fake name. Now that we know where it is, he probably knows too. I highly doubt he'd be stupid enough to stay holed up in it. But I also doubt he'd be smart enough to completely clear the place out before he left town either. There's probably something in there that would lead us right to him. Get what we want, then let Kazu know where the slime is so we can straighten him out. He'll get those fantasies of running away out of his head. The code to the door is 11235. It's the only keypad lock in the street. You can't miss it. For what it's worth, I wish you good luck finding your little girl, but remember, you can't save them all. Oh, Anito, thanks for bringing Mr. Marshmallow to me. Being holed up in one place for the last few weeks can be a bit taxing. You know, I remember he loves fresh fish. Fresh fish, huh? Sachiko certainly does have an eccentric taste. Go pick up some sashimi. Right away, boss. Want to check those places out, see if the people were there to talk to. Huh, that worked. Looks like Kasumi's tip wasn't a lie. Ah, what a stench. I know that smell. Anyone who's worked homicide long enough knows it. Drunk ones have been distributed and maybe removed? What's this? Name Higashi written on it. Did Reina do this? Oh god. Crying stopped. Why? I don't want to go through that door. I don't have a choice. I have to enter through this door. You're back early. Yeah, I don't feel well. I think I'll go to bed early tonight. Ruby, don't ignore me lately. It's been the same excuse over and over. I don't know what you're talking about. Ruby, my sweet little Ruby. You think because that one song was a hit you can just stop working? That money's all gone, sweetheart. We spent it all trying to get you a record deal. Don't you think it's unfair to eat my food and stay here for free without doing any work? Ruby. Hey, stop crying. Stop crying. I'm talking to you. Please, I didn't mean it. I'll do another song. I'll make it up to you. I promise. I just don't want to. That's exactly why I'm setting up all these meetings for you. You make the right impression with these guys and they'll take you places. Seeing which, I got a call a little while ago from Masa. Know what he told me? He told me you were being a little disagreeable with him last night at his place. You know that he's one of our best clients, don't you? The things he can do for you girls as well. I shouldn't even need to tell you. I sent you to him because he said there was something special about you. In fact, he said out of all the girls here, he practically wanted to meet you. I did you a big favor by making that happen. Then you compensate my generosity by sitting in a room crying and telling me you don't feel well or whatever excuse you came up with next. I couldn't. He tried to. I don't care what he tried to do. You should have let him. When I took you in, you were a vulnerable, tiny girl who was already failing in school. But I saw your potential. I could already tell how pretty you'd be when you were older. That's all these men care about, how I look. So what? You think I took you in because of how smart you were? You're an idol. You're supposed to be looked at. Most men would fall over themselves to meet a pretty girl like you. But you ruin it for everyone when you sit there crying. What are you doing? I'm sick of looking like an idiot, Ruby. You made me do this. Well, that can't be good. The TV turned on of its own accord. I guess we'll let it play. Maybe we'll get some sort of clue out of it. Although that could just be wishful thinking on my part. Okay, I don't think there's anything going to change about that. Other than something copyright. Damn, Ruby, I can't stand to see you like this. You're not going to feel better staying cooped up in here. Listen, I got you that photo shoot lined up tomorrow. The one with Masa? Are you even listening? Don't make me go back. I don't want to go out. Let me stay here. What's wrong with you? Please, please don't make me. I'm afraid to go. As far as I can tell, all you're afraid of is success. I've fallen over myself to make you a star, but you'll never get anywhere if you lock yourself away. What? You're not going to say anything? You can't treat me this way. I gave you your name, your music, and damn near everything else. Oh, but you think you're special, right? Let me break it to you, honey. You're not. There's loads of other girls in this business just like you, and they do what they have to without complaining about it. They understand how important it is to keep our clients happy, and I'm sorry it's not all butterflies and flowers, but you're not some naive little girl anymore. You're a woman now. Hey, Earth Ruby, I'm trying to give you some advice here, and you're not even listening. This guy's a... I... He deserves to be dead. Maybe not necessarily the death he got, but this guy, bad things coming to him. I'm trying to give you some advice here, and you're not even listening. Reina, my name is Reina. What did you just say? Reina, who's that? Oh yeah, that was the name of some pathetic little foster girl I picked up. You want to go back to being her? Just say the word and I'll throw you out there myself. If you think you've got it so bad now, let's count the seconds between you hitting those streets and being back in foster care or dead in some gutter. Not so talkative now, are we? Reina, or is it Ruby, the girl who was successful, the girl who could make it if she'd just do what she was told? I'm sorry I lost my temper, but you gotta see things my way. You are special, you know that? I see. I saw so much potential in you. Such a beautiful young girl. Wanted to raise you up and show you what life could be. Then you reject me and everything I can offer you. It's a damn shame. You're so pretty, Ruby, so pretty. But not when you mope around. Look, I get it. You're a teenager and you want to cry it out, right? Fine. But when you're done with that, you're going back out there. You think I want to send you all to all these little meetings with Masa and guys like him? I'd rather you were successful so I don't have to do that. I'm on your side. If you'd work harder, you wouldn't have to do things like that. Stop crying. You're not a child anymore. I just want to go home. Home? Where do you think you are? You are home. This is as good as it's going to get for a little girl like you. Tomorrow you're going to go with Masa and do whatever it is he tells you to do. You'll stop this crying and you'll start making some money. Maybe it was a mistake to think you'd end up being special. Turns out you're just another disappointment. Something laying on the mattress. It's a newspaper article dated. The article's title is One Hit Wonder Ruby Commits Suicide. That can't be. That was over 10 years ago. Her real name was withheld from the press, but her picture is there. According to the article, Higashi went to her room and found it locked. He called to her. She didn't answer. I thought she must have been tired, he said. She'd been working hard on a new song. He only forced the door when he noticed the smell where he found her hanging from the rafters. She'd hung herself almost 2 days before. Probably in this room. There's more. Though Mr. and Mrs. Higashi had adopted her years before, Ruby was not made to work and loved being an idol more than anything in the world. Her song Look For Me will go on sale again this month, with all sales going to various suicide prevention charities. I've read enough. The sadness that's in this room is the same awful feeling I felt in the sewers. Is it Reina's, or is this what I was supposed to see? God, she was in such a rough situation. One she should have been in. She never should have been in that. How many girls did Higashi pass around and abuse before she murdered him? And Reina, she looked the same as she does now, 16 years old, a child. Had her locked up and she tried to take back control the only way she thought she could. Only she came back. All that pain and suffering came back with her. When I was in that room, I could feel it like it was my own. It's not the first time I felt it. The dark was steeped in it. As soon as I realized it was like the air changed. I can sense a pulse now, like a heartbeat following me, but it's not enough. The mask could help me find the door. and I can feel the dark, but the path still isn't open to me. What am I missing? My gut tells me it has to do with the common Kai, and the only one alive who knows about it is the old Kawana woman. She has to tell me what happened. See if there's any other clues laying around here that I can... I told you to stay away from my family. Don't drag my grandchildren into this any more than you already have. I have a question about the Common Kai, the group your daughter and son-in-law were part of. You're the only one alive who'd remember. I don't know anything about it. Leave me. Enough. Listen to yourself. Do you even realize you're lying anymore? Takashi told us everything. And just because this investigation is important to you doesn't give you the right to barge in here. Your grandma and I need to talk. If it upsets you, maybe you should go. No, I'm not going anywhere. This is the house I grew up in. It's as much mine as it is grandma's. If you have something to say, you can say it in front of me. Only a little while ago, I found out my parents died in some cult, and no one even knows why. Do you think hearing that was easy for me? I want to help you, Ito, but all the deceit and lies are starting to hurt people. What I'm chasing is so much worse. Tell that to the poor man in the station. He's in the hospital now, terrified out of his wits. People aren't only here to be used for information and thrown away while you move on. They have lives too. And bringing up the past can hurt. Surely you of all people understand that. I do, but ignoring the past won't make it go away. And there's unfinished business from the Common Kai that needs to be taken care of. But what's left to talk about? Everyone's dead, right? I promise to talk to you about all this later. For now, let me and the detective talk. Go on, you were cooking us dinner, weren't you? Alright, we'll talk about it later, but I'll be in the other room if you need me. So, you found me out. Now that mine knows, I suppose there's no point in keeping it a secret any longer. The truth is, my daughter never would have joined the Common Kai if it weren't for me. I convinced her and her husband to join. I was already a member. At the time I joined, my husband had left me, and I had lost my job, suddenly leaving me a single, unemployed mother who could barely support her daughter. That's when Tokimasa found me, and told me that the society that stigmatized and shunned me was a fiction, a great machine to be fought, and that my very soul was at stake. Of course, he used me as he did everyone else. I desperately wanted to hear that my struggles weren't my fault. They stole everything from me, my youth, my mind, then my child. And then one day, in 1996, they all died. The cause of death was buried, and no autopsies were performed, or if they were hidden. Why? That's simple. The government didn't care about some dead cultists in the woods and covered up so the papers wouldn't sensationalize their deaths. That's it? After everything I found, you expect me to believe that? 12 people died that day, and no one knows why. What happened? Tell me the truth. You want to know what happened so badly? Fine, I'll tell you. They died for nothing. Following in the footsteps of madmen who believed their life was an illusion. As words of other compounds and other groups being raided spread, Tokimasa began warning us that the end was near. He believed the world was collapsing and it was time for him and his followers to abandon the flesh and find purity among the gods. Mayamiko, she didn't die from some conspiracy. She chose death because she no longer had an anchor to reality, and it was my fault. Beyond that, I don't know what happened to them. No, you do know something. In the report, it says that the officers cleared the bodies. They found the mask, the same one you handed to me 6 months ago. That's... Tokimasa would always keep it to himself, saying it granted him sight into the realm of the kami. I needed it. You don't understand. It It allowed us to see strange things and people who were gone. The guru was a fool, a fake, but the mask was real. There's rumor that the cult members were killed by one of their own. Surely you didn't. No, you don't understand. I'd never kill my own child. I didn't take the mask. It was given to me. One day, a man, some journalist or other, showed up at my door, carrying the mask. I couldn't believe it. I begged him for it, and he stood there smiling at me. His eyes were like none I had ever seen. It was strange. All I wanted in exchange for the mask was a picture of Imiko. When I joined the cult, I was forced to give up my possessions, and only had one left, but I gave it to him nevertheless. I thought if I had the mask that I could find her, that maybe she would forgive me. As soon as I had it in my hands, my mind opened. I could hear her voice. So you went into the sewers chasing after her, thinking you could save her. Takashi told you that as well, did he? Yes, it's true. Emiko was crying out to me, begging me to find her and free her from a dark place. I would have given anything to hold her in my arms again and plead her forgiveness. I don't care if you don't believe me. Just like Tanaka was calling out to me. I do believe you. We're probably some of the few people left alive who know what this mask is capable of. If you really thought it'd help you find her, then why'd you give it to me? Because I was wrong. At first, I only followed whispers. Then I found myself in a strange labyrinth, chasing after her shade. The days bled together. I lost track of my grandchildren, of the shrine. It was an illusion. No matter how hard I tried, I never found her. I only became more and more disconnected from the world around me. I descended into madness. I was being used again, just as Tokumasa had used me so many years before. I tried getting rid of it, throwing it away, burning it. None of it mattered. It always came back. And when I did, the visions and whispers only got worse. So I put it out of my mind, and tried as best I could to live a life of solitude. It ignored the screams of my daughter. Then you came. And when you did, this mask was screaming out in voices I'd never heard before. I thought it was a sign, so I gave it to you. I didn't even have time to breathe out a sigh of relief before I heard a gunshot ring out. No one else ran to it. I think I was the only one who knew that sound for what it was. I thought the mask was punishing me once again by taking Mai away from me. Instead, it had passed tragedy to another. I'm sorry, perhaps knowledge of the mask should die with us. There is one other person who knows about the mask. A girl named Reina. Does that name mean anything to you? No, I don't know anybody by that name. Does we know everyone who's been touched by the mask? No, but you were involved with the group that worshipped it. Are you sure you're telling me everything? Yes, what good will accusing an old woman do? Unless you're chasing someone too. That must be it. Mai told me you lost someone, your partner in the police, is that right? If I'm right, then I suggest you stop your search. The place I was shown by the mask was not meant for the living. I barely escaped with my life. Stop while your mind and body remain intact. What if I told you there was another option? What other option? In the months since I first met you, I've had time to examine the ancient texts in the shrine. And as the mask grew further away, it loosened its grip on my mind. I knew then it would someday make its way back to me. And so I became determined to find a way to protect myself and my grandchildren from its influence. The darkness of the common Kai and its ritual object are but manipulations used to sever our connection with what is truly divine. The mask breeds darkness. Dark forces can invade all manner of living and non-living things, driving them to violence or death. That which is evil cannot be used or tolerated. It must be destroyed, and it's the only way to save us from its grip. Destroy the mask? I thought you said it couldn't be done. Not physically. Grandma, is everything alright? I overheard you talking about that mask again. Yes, dear, but you needn't worry. In fact, it's good you're here as this talk involves you. Mai, you've trained in exorcism and purification rituals for quite some time, haven't you? Such a ritual could purify the mask and turn it into a mere piece of wood. Given we gather the right materials, of course. I can tell from the look in your eyes that you think me to be senile, but I'm quite serious. Even modern rituals have ancient roots. And with enough conviction, they are still capable of great power. Before I was content to die, as long as the mask didn't hurt my children, as I was too feeble to do what was necessary myself. But now, seeing you here, I see a second chance to do what is right. If you truly do know what the mask is, then you must help me destroy it. Slow down, I didn't come here to be involved in a ritual or exorcism or whatever you call it. I only want the truth about the common Kai, which you still haven't given me. You're a stubborn one, aren't you? So be it. I can see there's only one option to change your mind. The only trace of what happened that day would be at the common Kai compound itself. The records of its locations are lost and they were never made public, but I know where it is. What's the catch? Go there, search for your truth, see what worshipping the mask has wrought. When you return, you'll help me destroy it. What makes you so confident I'll change my mind? I went back once, years ago. In all honesty, I'm not sure why. Perhaps to remind myself of my sins. What I saw and felt in that place, it was tainted by darkness and death. Those two things are all the mask will afford you. There is something else. I had a feeling you'd say that. The heavy, unnatural air I felt when I returned to the compound. It had the same stench, the same quality of the tunnels where I searched for Emiko. Sounds like a superstition to me, so what exactly is it you want in exchange for the information? I believe the energies of the mask and that place are linked. I want you to bring something back from there. Anything. It may help in the ritual. Looking for the truth will not bring you peace, detective. Purifying the mask very well might. Remember that. The compound is in the forest of Akigara. Hey, that's the suicide forest. What a dreadful name. Though I suppose those woods have seen their fair share of tragedy and death. You can't just go charging in there. It's dangerous. What if you got lost? GPS doesn't work in there, and I heard even compasses won't point north. Not only that, but well, a lot of people go there to die. I don't think you should go. You do keep talking about that mask like it's some sort of evil spirit causing you pain, but I think the pain you're feeling isn't caused by a mask, it's just you. So many nights after the girl died in the shrine, I had nightmares. Every corner I went round, I thought I'd see her there. It wasn't a ritual or charm that made me better, though. I just stopped listening to the fear. I confronted it. When you took me to see Takashi, that was the first time I'd left Kamakura since April. It's embarrassing to admit, but I was scared. And yeah, Takashi telling me all that stuff about Mom and Dad was scary, but it was the truth. I wasn't hiding from some demon I'd invented myself. Anyway, I know you might not listen to me, but I don't think you should put yourself in danger just so you can keep chasing your demons. Maybe you're right, but some demons have a way of spreading to others. Seeing the Common Kai compound is something I have to do. Well, it's your choice, but that place is huge. How are you going to find one compound? Mai makes a good point. It's been a long time. Do you remember where it is? Of course I do. I know what you two must think of me, but I'm not senile. It's a hike away from a bus stop on the outskirts of Narasawa. We used to go into town occasionally for supplies. Several miles away from the bus stop, there's a clearing, and a path there used time to time by the Forest Service. I'll draw you a map before you leave. It continues for quite some time, and eventually it'll be blocked off. Keep going forward, and don't turn back or leave the path. The forest can play tricks on you. Supposing the path is still there, it seems pretty incredible to me that the compound would have been left alone all these years. It still stands, after all, why would they bother to go and dismantle it? Go search for whatever truth you think you'll find, but be careful, detective. Do what must be done, then leave. Staying there is dangerous. I hope that once you enter that place and feel the energy I did, you'll have the sense to see what I never could. You understand, don't you? The mask must be purified. Good. I'll begin preparations for the ceremony regardless. Mai, see her out. She's never said anything like that to me. You must have really scared her. Listen, I'll help with this ritual because I think it'll help Grandma get better. But don't get yourself killed. I know in your eyes I'm probably just a kid, but I know how much it hurts to want the truth. Takashi obsessed over the past, and I was miserable not knowing. Grandma almost went insane on top of that. Grandma said it herself. You're still young. You should forget about all this and start over. And you might not want to hear this, but listening to you talk about masks and spirits, well, you sound like that girl at the shrine. It scares me, and it should scare you too. Take care of yourself. You're not looking for me. You only want to hurt the girl, to hurt the old woman, to see everyone who gets in your way suffer. No, that's not true. I would not anything to change what happened to you. Make away. I can't bear to look anymore. Stop. Make it stop. I don't want to remember. What a great idea. Remembering hurts, doesn't it? Let me take away all that pain. Let's forget together. No. Maybe if I wait for the entire screen to fill up with a let's forget message, it will move on? Because I don't think that that's the right answer. Forgetting I don't believe is the right answer at all. Hmm. Hmm. Does look like it stopped typing. Geez, the way you were singing, I thought you'd never wake up. Huh? Where? Thank goodness you're okay. I knew I'd find you. Find me, what are you talking about? I haven't gone anywhere. I saw you on the ground. She she slit your throat. That must have been a hell of a nightmare you had. Another good cup of coffee can't fix. Speaking of, I fixed the coffee machine so you can officially file that case as closed. Hey, okay? You look a little out of it. Take your time getting ready. I'll be in the other room. Yeah, thanks, Kazuki. What is this? I was looking for something, wasn't I? Why can't I remember? My heart's beating a mile a minute. Can't shake the feeling of dread that it's hanging in the air. This is real, right? I want it to be real. Welcome back to the real world, sleepyhead. You're not dressed. You didn't forget about our picnic, did you? Picnic? We were going to have a picnic in the park and see the cherry blossoms, remember? I know it's not exactly traditional, but I figured we could grab a pizza on the way over, too. It's an important time of year, after all. Did you forget that, too? Don't you remember when the cherry blossoms fell and you saved those two girls at the shrine? You're a hero. Saved? No, I'm no hero. She died. I killed her. She's always trying to stop me from. Something doesn't feel right. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. Of course it is. We're together. The sun's out. We've got Lady Fluff. Is this what you wanted? With your parents gone, Lady Fluff and I are the only family you've got left. This is where you belong, and we love you. That's why you'll come with us. Come on. We've got to get going. Go. Where are you taking me? Somewhere safe. Safe? Why? Where was I going? Where's the path? The path isn't for you. It leads to suffering. So let's leave the path and be happy forever. No, I don't want that. Isn't this nice? We're all here like one big happy family. We don't need anyone else. We don't need anyone else. We don't need anyone else. It's better this way. Stay here. What's the matter with you? Nothing's the matter. We're exactly where we need to be. This is all so wonderful. I've taken you somewhere safe, just like I promised. Away from places you didn't belong. You'll stay here so you can't hurt anyone anymore. Free from all those pesky, painful memories. So let's forget together. Lie down where it's comfortable and stay there forever and ever and ever. No, ignoring the pain won't make it go away. Kazuki wouldn't want me to forget. He'd tell me to keep going. I know this place. I've been here before. It's drenched in the same suffering as before. Why did you take me here? Why won't you leave me alone? Why do you want to hurt me so badly? Why did you come here? Don't make me remember. Okay, so my only way forward is this way. Finally made it, or at least Marina doesn't have as much power here. Looking at it now, I can't help but feel underwhelmed. For all the secrecy and classified documents and foreboding stories, all I see is drab, gray structures and a forest clearing. But it's eerie, it's silent, and the air is thick, like it's cut off from the rest of the forest. Given how hard Reina was trying to keep me out of here, I feel that's no coincidence. I feel sadness and fear hanging in the air like I did in Higashi's office. I should be careful, find out what I can, and get out of here. I guess this all but confirms Reina's link to the Common Kai, but what's she trying so too hard to prevent me from finding? I can't let my daughter be in the ritual. That's not for us to decide. For you to decide. You know her importance. What the guru says, she can show us. But she's my daughter. Tokumasa hasn't told us what he's going to do to her. She is our daughter, Hisako. What if it doesn't work like he says? She's so young. You doubt him? Now, it's because she's so young that she was chosen. Her mind is not stained by regret, sadness, or corruption. She's perfect. I know that, just why hesitate? The Guru tells us we're approaching the moment that will bring us true peace. The culmination of everything we've worked for. Somehow your child is the focal point. She says she will be granted a sight even more profound than his own. She can lead us. I only want to make sure she's okay. He promised she'd be safe, but now I'm not so sure. The Guru will make sure she's taken care of. She'll want for nothing and be blessed with new sight. It's the only way. The world is on the brink of ruin. There's no time left. My children will. Don't worry, they'll be safe. No, my own mother betrayed me. She dragged my children away to die in the filth. I'm sorry, I must be strong. Soon we'll have no more worries and ascend from our flesh. You know, don't you? I saw you outside when you told us. All the things I studied, they were only ever used by corrupt people to control one another, to hurt one another. Soon we'll be free of all that. We'll escape the suffering of this world and be reborn. God, these people are so fucked up. I mean, I get that. I mean, they were taken in by someone charismatic. I mean, usually cult leaders usually are, but it's just like if you was stepped back, evaluated what was truly going on. And this is a trick that was taught to me back in college, is basically just stepping back. Separating yourself from your own biases, your own metaphysical structure of your mind. Remove all emotion from the equations. Remove all your biases and everything from the equation. And just look at something. Whatever it may be. Whether it's a belief system such as a church, or whether it be, uh, is this the right thing to do, or is that the wrong thing to do? Take a look at it from a logical perspective. Then start taking all the morals and the biases and everything you've built up over the years and start trying to piece it into the puzzle. Sometimes you may find that something you've believed, some moral you've learned, may not necessarily fit with what's going on. Does that mean it's wrong? Or is the situation wrong? That's something that you have to figure out for yourself, but it is something to consider. At no point should there be anything in your life that you shouldn't absolutely be able to question. And then you have to figure out for yourself, what's right, what's wrong, how do I move forward? What do I move forward? And it'll be Reyna who shows us the way. She'll be the bridge. You're right, I always knew she was special. Even when she was growing inside me, I could feel it. Promise me again, promise me she'll be taken care of. Can I have a little of that? Stress not to give you any food at the feast. Oh, don't you see? You are pure. The feast indulges in their tests us to show us that we are corrupt with the stains of impurity upon us. As a reminder of how the great machine of man keeps our souls shackled and chained. Those who are cleansed must not turn away from the righteous path. Right, bud. You're very lucky, yes, so lucky to be in Tokumasa's favor. He chose you. He chose you to be the bearer of the mask, to see the great door to the pure realm. Those other children who were taken, that too was a test, to find the most pure among you. You understand, don't you? I don't know. Oh yes, of course not. You are but a child. It says that you children are much wiser than us, that your understanding of the world is untainted. I imagine she is with the Guru. She is in need of the Guru's love. Yes, her mind has gone astray of late, in such a key moment. The Guru will show her the way. Don't you worry. It doesn't matter. We are your family. You should go back to your bed. I don't know why the Guru let someone so important wander freely. Well, something would happen to you like the others. What others? Do not fear. The great Tokumasa's prophecy will come to pass, and there will be no fear very soon. You should go to sleep, child, and remember, do not eat this meal. It is food for us, the pitiful. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing, it's nothing. The ritual soon. It'll be a time of great change. Go away. Why? Tomorrow you will guide us, but look at you, so young. You must be resilient. Fear is a pure emotion. All forms of life feel fear. The fear is not weakness, but a test. You are testing me. The Guru is wise. Are you okay? You're looking at me funny again. It's nothing. What do you want? Do you know where Takashi is? Weak. They're weak. Don't think of them. Don't cloud your thoughts. You must remain as you are. Needn't worry. We'll guide us. Just wait. What's wrong, Emiko? Oh, what are you doing here? You scared me. I'm sorry. It's alright. You didn't mean it, did you? No? Then there's nothing to worry about. Do you want something? Why isn't Takashi or the baby here with you? He and his sister were not meant for the path of purity. Not like you. It's the night before the ritual. I must unburden myself with thoughts of them. What's unboredom mean? Unburden. It means I have to forget them. Yes, forget the children, Emiko. Becoming too attached to our offspring is part of mankind's great machine. It is a lie that this was a test. But there's no greater legacy than our children. And not just our children, but the world, the universe that we leave to them. Is there a spiritual world? Yes, I absolutely believe there is. But it's intertwined with the physical world. They are not separate, they're one and the same. And only by taking care of both can we truly be one with the universe and at peace with not only with the universe, but ourselves. It is a lie. This was a test. They did not pass. You must. We are so close to our goal. Yes, of course. I will not shackle myself to meaningless connections. Don't worry. Tomorrow is the great ritual Tokumasa has envisioned. And you're the guest of honor. Everything will be all right. Really? Yes, of course. Now run along. Maybe you shouldn't be here. Why not? The feast isn't for you. It's for us, the impure. We must prepare ourselves. Since the impure must purify themselves by feasting and expunging the darkness from their bodies. If I can remain uncorrupted, even someone worthless like me will be able to ascend to a higher plane. I don't think you're worthless. Everyone keeps telling me I'm so special, but no one visits me anymore. And where's everyone else? Are they hiding from me now too? The others are with the guru, preparing themselves for tomorrow. Don't worry, everything will be clear tomorrow. There's nothing to fear. Mommy? Reina? Where were you? I missed you. Keep your voice down, swear. I can't stay long. Why not? Why don't you stay with me anymore? Well, that's complicated. The guru thinks it's best we're apart for a while. He has big plans for us, and for you especially. Who cares about all that? Honey, it's not that simple. Why not? Why won't they let us stay be together? Because you're so pure and perfect. I know you love me, but I'm no good. If I stay with you, he says I'll corrupt you. But I'm so weak, I wanted to see you. It's our little secret, okay? Okay, Mommy, is it my fault you can't stay with me anymore? No, of course not. It's me. You're going to be a big, important person someday. I can't hold you back. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, but someday you'll understand. Has big plans for you. He told me so himself. He said you're the key to everything because you're so pure. Remember why we left the city? Because everyone's so mean and out for themselves? They're all stained by corruption, but not us. Not you anyway. I thought you said you were going home. We can't. Tokumasa says the great machine's done for. That all those corrupt people will kill each other in wars and die, and we'll be left. But you'll be there to guide them. Soon you've been chosen by Tokumasa. Die? I don't want anybody to die. Yes, me neither, sweetie. But like I said, I figured out a new retro, and you'll be able to help everyone. I don't understand. Why are you saying all these weird things? It's not easy for me either, but it's not about what we want all the time. If you do this, it'll help me. You want to help Mommy, don't you? Yeah, I guess. Exactly, so let's smile, okay? Hey, guess what? What? Before the ritual, there's going to be a big celebration just for you. It'll be a big feast. What's that mean? It's a big meal where everyone gets to eat all the food they want. It's like a party. Doesn't that sound fun? I guess so. Then I can come see you again. Do you promise? Yeah, afterwards we'll all go out together to the ritual. All together. I thought you said it was just me. Like I said, sweetheart, you've been chosen. It says you'll gain the sight to guide us to salvation. Okay. Hey, don't look so sad. You'll get me crying if you do, and you don't want to see Mommy cry, do you? No? Good. Reina, I need you to listen to me now. Here, I want you to have this. It's Mommy's amulet, the one I've kept since I was little. I want you to have it for the ritual. When it starts, I want you to hold it and keep your eyes shut tight, okay? If you get scared, just grab it tight and think of me, okay? But that amulet's yours. Don't you need it? What if something bad happens to you? It's more important you have it now. Promising you'll do it, what I asked. I promise. Let's make a pinky promise. Okay. You know what happens when you break a pinky promise, right? Yeah, you said my pinky'd fall off. Exactly. We don't want that now, would we? After tomorrow, things might be different. Maybe even a little scary, but it's not all bad. The most important thing is that Tokumasa told us that we'll be together. I love you too, Mommy. Where am I? The forest path. I saw things that started running. When I found the amulet, cut away the fog that had been surrounding me and showed me the truth. The mask of Kamen Reina was there the whole time. They all killed themselves and made her wear the mask. That day is when it started, when Reina became the mask bearer, when her suffering truly began. The pulse of the dark has changed again. The fuzzy image I had before has snapped into focus. Everything I need to put an end to this is in my hands. How long has it been, I wonder? A man in a sewer, a girl with red hair, memories and thoughts that aren't my own. I'm in over my head. I'm so stretched out, it feels like the slightest breeze could topple me, and each time I get close to the truth, something drags me further away. I feel like I'm so close, all the threads are leading to one place, and yet I haven't stopped to think of what finding it means. I'm on a ride that I have no control over, and that's moving too fast to focus on. What's passing me by? If only I could go back and slow down. Give myself some time to think. Instead, I just keep rushing forward towards the unknown. Before I went to the forest, I thought I had a handle on things. Then she showed up and turned it all on its head. My whole life, I've thought that if I only connected the dots and contextualized the clues, it'd make everything simpler and it'd all work out. This time, I'm not so sure. The only thing left to do is hold on tight and see where I end up. With me is a little wooden mask that so many died for, and now I'm using it myself. It doesn't feel right. It was her pain I felt back in the compound, the focal point to all of her misery. I wonder if it's the real Reina I've seen, or is that girl long gone? I felt in the compound the misery I feel in the dark are the same. It's her. The mask, Reina the Dark, all tied to the door. Despite everything I'd seen, and all the mysteries that explained it to me, what awaited me there was still unknown. My only chance to see Kazuki again is to go into those filthy tunnels and find it. Only then do I have any hope of using it to change his fate. Something with that much power would have a cost, and I'd be forced to accept it without question. Nothing can ever be the same after today. My chance to have a normal life disappeared the moment I took the mask from evidence. Or maybe it would have found its way back to me eventually. Kazuki, Tanaka, the man I've suffered so much for, has been silent. Maybe he's not even down there anymore. I've seen what Rain has become as a result of the mask. Would that happen to me? Now that I know the way, is that what I really want? The horrible object was made out of the death of innocent people and fed hundreds of years later with more death. Why continue the cycle? Why shouldn't I destroy it? I suppose that's obvious, because I'd be destroying Kazuki and Reina along with it. If I don't act soon, it feels like the world will tear apart at the seams. The dark is creeping in at the seams, affecting people even if they can't see it like I do. I have to do something. Shinjuku and Kamakura, the two places where my path started, are also where it has to end. This is it. I need to choose. Follow the thread further into the darkness or attempt to cut and return to the light. Cut it. Return to the light. No, 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 no. We cleanse this damn thing. Huh, Ito? So you came after all? Yes, of course she didn't. She knew it was the right thing to do. You brought something, didn't you, from the compound? I did. I found an old wooden amulet. You were right. The darkness I felt there was the same. Seriously, wait, this is actually real? When I was there, I saw visions from the past of people who are gone now. I know about the ritual Tokumasa tricked them into performing. How could you have let it happen? She was just a girl. There's no answer I can give that would satisfy you. No answer. Is that the best you can do? That's why you fled, isn't it? You knew all about Tokumasa's ritual and what would happen to everyone who was left behind. Yet you took Mai and Takashi and ran and did nothing to stop it. Stop it. What would have changed? Emiko knew what staying meant for her children, as well as I did. She was willing to die, however Tokumasa told her to. I couldn't persuade my own daughter to save herself. You think I didn't try? The police never would have believed an old woman talking about ancient rituals. I had no choice. They were monsters. They weren't monsters, they were lost, looking for answers in a world that had none for them. Much like you, like us. In my years with Mask, I could hear them sometimes in the darkness, along with voices I did not recognize. I always thought they were vengeful, restless, punishing me for my sins. Once we purify the Mask, perhaps they will forgive us. Did you find the girl who's chasing you, this Reina? Did you ask her forgiveness? Forgiveness? I'm not sure if that's possible anymore. After everything that girl went through, all of her self-hatred and her sorrow are a part of the Mask now. I felt it all at the shrine the day I shot her. Do you think that this will put a stop to all of it? The whispers, Reina, all the strange things we've seen? Atonement is a journey, one that expands past our time on this earth. And will at least allow us to take the first step to righting our sins. Our sins, huh? Hold on, I've only ever done good luck rituals and harmless little blessings. This is different. Grandma, this is real. I don't know if I can do this. Mike, calm yourself. A ritual has meaning in its very act. It is the God's way of preparing us for the true test. You are a pure child, and combined with your will, the ritual will gain power. It will work. It must. Why me? Because you are not corrupted by it. Only you can. You can bring your mother peace. Please, Mai, you have to try. I know you think it's crazy, but this mask has caused a lot of people to suffer. Sorry, just a moment here. I think it's crazy, but it's because a lot of people will to suffer. It doesn't matter if you believe us, just do it knowing that it will help me and your grandma move on. You haven't seen what we've seen, so I don't blame you for being skeptical, but you can believe in helping us, right? I just want this all to end. Me too. Every day it's been harder to keep things straight, and I think this mask is partly to blame. It's silly, I'm not religious, never have been, but I want this all to stop, to be normal again. I want to believe that it will work, and in you. So please, I'm begging you to try. Okay. Thank you, Mai. Mai, are you ready? I just need a moment to prepare. What if we're wrong? What do you mean? What if the mask isn't the problem? What if we're making it worse? An old man told me that the mask didn't create the shadows, it only opens your vision to them. So are we doing the right thing? What if we're missing something? Are you losing your resolve? No, it's just Tanaka, the man who died, the one I was searching for. He always said a what if isn't good enough for a detective. I guess old habits die hard, and there's still so much I don't understand. You never will. It's a matter of faith, child. Okay, I'm ready. Please forgive me for leading you to those people, and for what happened to you. I tried to save you. I tried. I pray you find peace. Grandma, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Among the whispers, the mask turned to desperate, pleading screams. I closed my eyes and hugged myself like a child, feeling at that moment utterly engulfed in fear. Then there was silence. When I opened my eyes, the mask was split in two. I knew at that moment Kazuki was dead and had been all along. We all left the shrine in silence. I never returned. Nothing was quite right after that day. Brenna's presence was gone, but I started to feel other things. The shadows began to take on new, fearful shapes. Tokyo began to change, crime shot up, and the murder rate peaked at an all-time high that year. The police were so swamped with the wave of violence that they reinstated me as a homicide detective. The investigation into me was dropped entirely. I quit within 6 months. Just didn't have the stomach for it anymore. And after what happened to Kazuki, I could never focus. What if the ritual was a mistake? Whatever everything that happened since is all my fault. Sometimes I wake up at night wondering if the world of the dark was the truth and my life now is a dream. An after image after being exposed to a bright flash. I don't go out much these days. I can't bear to face the real world. Huh. Interesting. Such a dark game. I mean, very interesting story. I mean, someday we might play the other side of it and go down, choose differently, and go through the other ending. There's also like a Tokyo Dark Remembrance. Not sure whether that's like a sequel or how that's related to this, but we'll probably maybe play that someday too. I mean, yeah, thank you to them. Interesting, most interesting. You're nothing but a crow feeding on the carrion that time leaves in its wake. Forgive me for not being an impartial spectator of human suffering. The woman had her own desires. I only gave her a little push. But the result, this cannot be, not right at all. The mask rid from this world? I won't accept it. Why? What do you care? Shall I tell you the reason it bothers you so? Because you gain nothing from this truth. But make no mistake, it is a truth, another possibility. Time is not a single thread, but a complex tapestry, pushed and formed into a picture by the forces of fate and chance. The different threads present a myriad of truths, but all an aspect of the same visage nonetheless. A myriad, interesting, interesting. I would have thought one so interested in history would adhere to a single truth. On the contrary, if history has taught me anything, it's that there is no one truth. The deeper one gazes, the more complex it becomes. Yes, all are truths, all grant insight into the same puzzle. You're right, my old friend. Time is a spiral, and observe it long enough, and we may yet learn something. No, she is not your plaything. It is not your decision. There is only one way this can end. Only one way for the world to remain intact and stop the thing that's coming. It must be protected. The role must be performed. Stubborn, so stubborn. Allow me to ask you a question. I believe I know it already. You've asked it before. Indulge me. I asked her the same question. If the dancing puppet looks up and sees its strings, does it remain a puppet? What of fate and chance, then? I answer a riddle with one of my own. See the storm clouds approaching, and though you can take shelter or alter your course, does the storm not come regardless? No fun. You've never tolerated my philosophical side. Nor you me when I tell you how things are. I suppose that's because we are one and the same. But what of her? All we can do is see, but eventually she will end up there. There's only one path which will hold the world together. Huh. Well, let's go ahead and raid someone here and then call an end for the tonight. Let's see who's out there. Well, this is someone new that, as Rock put it, he indoctrinated me to. Uh, MT Chopsticks.
All that effort.
No.
It's okay. You know what? I have so many points right now.
Oh my god, the competition is fierce for egg versus no egg. Why
That redeem is so easy.
When we move over, go ahead and copy and paste this into the chat.
use 15,000 points to make that a thing?
Egg.
Luna's got okay, 2 eggs.
I'd like
Lunar,
to
ready
thank you
your
all
eggs?
for coming here tonight,
Honestly,
and I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Till then, have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Oh,
1, 2,
wiki
3.
voice.
Wiki voice. Sing the next yeet in Wiki Wows.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my god.
Check it.
Oh!